This is your home for the Cardinals. Eudora Sports Live.
Van Dong in motion. The give is to Moody. Moody ducks down and dives in. He's standing over the ball. He's going to take it quickly. Looking across the field, and he's got it! It's Jude Whalen. And now Addy Hephill puts it away for the Cards. They'll take a 2-set lead. Hendrickson in motion, give to Duncan. Duncan, and he's trucks the safety. Is he in?
It's time for the Cardinals on your home for Eudora High School Athletics. Eudora Sports Live.
Well, it is lovely weather for football here, and yet there are reports of cyclones in the area coming in from Ottawa. More on this developing story after the break.
At Kansas Insurance, we know one size doesn't fit all. In fact, our whole mindset is based on customized policies for you and your families. We're local, and we do what we do because we care about you. Think of us as brokers for your insurance needs. Working with Kansas Insurance gets you the award-winning service and attention to detail that only an independent agency can provide. All across Kansas, we're here to help you manage and plan for all types of risk. Contact a local agent today. Kansas Insurance. Local, independent, serving you.
At Fort Scott Community College, we understand that a scary part of figuring out your future isn't only answering the question, what should I do, but where do I belong? Maybe you belong here, preparing for a career in healthcare as part of Fort Scott Community College's nursing program. Or maybe you belong on stage as part of the Hounds band or theater department. I don't know where you've been or where you're headed, but I know we're saving a spot for you because you belong at Fort Scott Community College.
Are you looking for a trusted partner in pet care? Look no further than Eudora Animal Hospital, proudly serving Eudora and the surrounding area since 1975. Eudora Animal Hospital offers a wide range of services, including wellness exams, surgeries, routine vaccinations, and emergency care.
I just want to thank everybody in the community for trusting us with the care of their animals, and go Cards!
Schedule an appointment by calling 785-542-3265 or visit eudoravet.com.
All right, welcome into your Fort Scott Community College pregame show. You belong at Fort Scott Community College. From nursing to farm and ranch management, John Deere tech to theater, and so much more, plus championship caliber athletic programs. Learn more at fortscott.edu. It is going to be a great game here. It is a Frontier League matchup within which both the Eudora Cardinals and the Ottawa Cyclones are undefeated. Currently, the Cyclones sit atop it because they've scored a bunch of points this season, but the winner of this game will be the first team in the Frontier League. It is going to be a great matchup, but there are some key absences here in this matchup. First, on the Cyclone side, a name that you might be familiar with, and if you're not, you probably will become familiar with it. That name is Nate Sims. Last year, he was a danger against the Cardinals on special teams. He's also a commit to play football at KU, but he tore his ACL in week 2 of this season. So that is a let-off for the Cardinals, and also really unfortunate. I mean, he's a great player. You just love to see him play, and it's unfortunate that his season has been taken away, but that is a complete dynamic shift for the way this Cyclones team is going to work. And they are also without their starting running back, Julius O'Brien. His season also ended with a long-term injury, but the Cardinals have a key absence of their own. They are without starting quarterback Cy Thomas. He's been seen in a sling pregame here, and he will not be active for this football game. So it will be a mix of Coble and Carnegie at the quarterback position here for this game. It's going to be interesting to see the different dynamics, the different players play in this one. Looking at the history of this matchup, they only first played in 2008 within the Frontier League. The Cardinals dominating his history of this matchup. 14-3 is their record within this series, but those 3 losses have come within the last 5 years. The Cyclones have become a lot more competitive within the Frontier League in these recent years on the football field. It's going to be a great one. The Cardinals, though, won last year on the road 24-21. It was a fantastic game. It was the first loss for the Cyclones all year in the football season last year, and now they get to host them here in the Cardinal Arena. It's going to be a great one. Hayden, what are we looking forward to here?
Yeah, I think coming into this one, there's a lot to look forward to. There's a lot to be really excited for. I think one of the main things that I'm so excited for coming in, one is a chance for the Cards to repeat some history, right? They were the first team to beat the Cyclones last year. I believe that match was in week 4 as well, so it could have been 3-0, 2 or 3-0 if the Cyclones were coming into that. They walked out with a loss. They walk into Cardinal Arena 3-0 today, so it gives the Cards another opportunity to put a loss on the record. But also looking at this one last year, so many players on this returning Cards roster had really impressive days up in Ottawa. The main one being Grayson Moody, who I believe had around 230 yards on the ground.
230 and 2 touchdowns for Grayson Moody.
230 and 2 touchdowns, also giving us the infamous Run the Rock tweet from Coach Stefan that night, which was a blast. But it's coming into this one, I'm just really excited to see what Grayson Moody has on the ground. Last week, you were not on the call with us. It was me and Dylan Vanderveen. But I think we got to see a pretty ideal view of what the Eudora Cardinals want their identity to look like this season. We saw really impressive and efficient play on the ground. We saw the defense just be suffocating and aggressive. They were flying all over the place. Gave the Broncos really no room to breathe last week. They had their backs up against the wall. It felt like the Broncos were on the back foot the entire night. And I think that's exactly what Coach Stefan wants this Cards team to look like. A team that is able to score early, give themselves a little bit of a cushion, and then just be exhausting to deal with for a full 4 quarters where they're running the ball consistently. You're worried about Grayson Moody and Keelan Duncan and Cy Thomas on the ground, of course, who we are without tonight. But it just gives the defense so much to worry about. And then without Sims over on the Ottawa side of things, a little bit of that explosion taken out of it, it just gives a really good dynamic to the Cards coming in here, I think. Despite the absence of Cy Thomas, they should be able to have a pretty good night tonight. We know Houston Carnegie is extremely capable through the air as the backup here. But I'm looking forward to it. It's looking like we're going to have a really good night. And the weather, about as good as you could ask for a football game.
Yeah, real quick, running through those stats from last year's matchup. Grayson Moody, 230 rushing yards on 45 carries with 2 touchdowns. Keelan Duncan with 61 yards on 9 carries. He also got into the end zone. Van Dong and Connor Watson have both graduated. Watson threw in 32 rushing yards. Watson threw in 15. Van Dong threw in 15 as well. Compare that to 4 passing attempts that went for 9 yards from Connor Watson. So that would be why, after the game, Coach tweeted out, "Run the rock," because that is all that they did. More than 300 rushing yards compared to 9 passing yards. It was received by Kevin Hendrickson last year. That is pretty indicative of what their style might be this time around. And we can get more into some interview questions that we got to have with Coach for more specifics on this game after this next break here on the Fort Scott Community College pregame show. Keep it here.
Charlie was born at LMH. We had a great team of nurses. Not only did they check in on us regularly, they always asked if we had questions, always made sure that we understood what was going on. I cannot say enough wonderful things about the labor and delivery, family birthing, and mother baby care team at LMH Health. We had to put our entire trust into their hands, and just everyone was so friendly and so supportive.
For the best care for your pet, choose DeSoto Veterinary Clinic. Dr. Matt Fair and his team are dedicated to providing high-quality medical care with compassion and a personal touch. They treat every pet as their own, ensuring they receive the attention and respect they deserve. For routine checkups, testing, vaccinations, chiropractic and acupuncture care, or surgical services, you can trust Dr. Fair and his team at DeSoto Veterinary Clinic. Call 913-585-1115 to schedule an appointment today or visit DeSotoVetClinic.com.
At Fort Scott Community College, we understand that a scary part of figuring out your future isn't only answering the question, what should I do, but where do I belong? Maybe you belong here as part of Fort Scott Community College's John Deere Tech program. Maybe you belong here as part of the perennial playoff-bound Greyhound baseball team. I don't know where you've been or where you're headed, but I know we're saving a spot for you because you belong at Fort Scott Community College.
At Kansas Insurance, we know one size doesn't fit all. In fact, our whole mindset is based on customized policies for you and your families. We're local, and we do what we do because we care about you. Think of us as brokers for your insurance needs. Working with Kansas Insurance gets you the award-winning service and attention to detail that only an independent agency can provide. All across Kansas, we're here to help you manage and plan for all types of risk. Contact a local agent today. Kansas Insurance. Local, independent, serving you.
College pregame show. Reed McAvoy and Hayden Harves here with you in Eudora, Kansas. Looking back at the win for the Cards over Spring Hill, it was a very nice win. 24-14 was the final score. They played really nice defensively. Want to say thank you to Dylan Vanderveen for filling in. He did an absolutely great job on that one. Hope you guys watching all agree. So we got to talk to Coach about it. He said that he gave a lot of credit to the offensive coordinator, Coach Tharp, who's also listed as the assistant head coach, for making great play calls and getting them out the gate, setting the tone. Coach Steffen said he actually normally prefers to defer, but Coach Tharp said that if they won the toss, they wanted the ball. That was what they did. And their opening drive, there was not a single negative play all the way down to the end zone, including inducing a penalty, an offside from the defense. They really came out of the gates firing, and they actually never gave up the lead after that. It was a dominant performance for the Cards. They did a really, really good job to get the win over Spring Hill, which was a game that we lost in agonizing fashion last year in, well, I think it was double overtime. I know it was overtime. It may have been double. It took, I don't even know if we would do double overtime in regular season. Whatever it was ridiculous, and we did not win. And this time the Cardinals do come out with that win, a Frontier League win that has them 2-0, 2-1 on the season. The Cyclones are undefeated, 3-0. They have one out of conference win thus far on the season. Caden Dunback made a 43-yard field goal. I asked Coach about that. He says that he feels that if they protected well for him and he hits it well, he thinks that he could reach 50, which is a big vote of confidence there. And I asked him, would that be the school record? And he says, we have no idea. We're trying to look into it, trying to find if that would be the school record for Dunback. It feels like it's got to be close. It definitely would be registering on a top 3 list, you'd think, even if it isn't the all-time. Let's see here. Looking through some other things I asked him. Ottawa have scored 40-plus points in all 3 of their games this season. And so I asked him how he thinks his defense can try and recreate the great performance they had against Spring Hill. He said Ottawa's really good, but the fact that they are going to be without Sims and O'Brien means that things are going to look different. They will have guys needing to step up, and I feel like we have a good plan through Coach Kelly and Coach Nice that they have put together. He said that we have to make their quarterback uncomfortable, get him off his spot, and then tackle him in space. And then I did ask him about the mix. He sort of kept his cards close to his chest here. I asked him, said, the running stats, 300 rushing yards last year, 9 passing yards. What's the pass mix run going to look like here for this game? And he said, our strength is our offensive line, and using Moody and Duncan in the run game, if we get those guys going, everything else will open up. Not a straight answer, but I think we know we're going to see a lot of Grayson Moody specifically. I don't know about 45 carries, but I would not be surprised if he gets a big number once again here against the Cyclones. And it'll be interesting to see with the quarterback play, whether it's Carnegie or Noble playing QB, how that will affect the run game from the quarterback position.
Yeah, I would not be surprised at all if we saw double-digit carries from Keelan Duncan as well. I mean, this could very well be a 40 to 50 total carries across the board for just 2 running backs kind of night. But, yeah, I think, first of all, for Caden Dunback, we were watching him in the warm-ups earlier hitting from close to 50. I mean, he was hitting from about 45, and it looked like he had a few yards over the crossbar. So very much so possible there. I think the Cards have a really good strategy coming in here. I think when you look at teams that score a lot of points, offenses that are prolific, the first strategy you usually look at is, well, when we have the ball, we need to get first downs and we need to run clock. Running the ball and averaging close to 5 yards a carry, as Grayson Moody did last year and as he's been throughout most of this season, that's going to keep them off the field. That is a perfect recipe to be able to get first downs, run 4, 5, 6 minutes per drive if you can, and just keep them sitting on the bench. At that point, even if they score on every drive, they're not physically going to have enough time to run up the scoreboard that same way. So it does certainly give the Cards a very clear game plan coming into the night. They know exactly what they want to do, and they know how to do it. But this one I'm excited for. Really interested to see how the first couple drives in particular play out tonight. I think that's going to tell us a lot about the tone.
Yeah, a top matchup here within the Frontier League. Some positive news for the Cards in terms of the injury front. Gavin Etter is returning tonight here for the Cards. We will go to another break here on the pregame show. So we are ready for a great matchup here within the Frontier League. 18 minutes left before we get to opening kickoff.
At Kansas Insurance, we know one size doesn't fit all. In fact, our whole mindset is based on customized policies for you and your families. We're local, and we do what we do because we care about you. Think of us as brokers for your insurance needs. Working with Kansas Insurance gets you the award-winning service and attention to detail that only an independent agency can provide. All across Kansas, we're here to help you manage and plan for all types of risk. Contact a local agent today. Kansas Insurance. Local, independent, serving you.
At Fort Scott Community College, we understand that a scary part of figuring out your future isn't only answering the question, what should I do, but where do I belong? Maybe you belong here, preparing for a career in healthcare as part of Fort Scott Community College's nursing program. Or maybe you belong on stage as part of the Hounds band or theater department. I don't know where you've been or where you're headed, but I know we're saving a spot for you because you belong at Fort Scott Community College.
Are you looking for a trusted partner in pet care? Look no further than Eudora Animal Hospital, proudly serving Eudora and the surrounding area since 1975. Eudora Animal Hospital offers a wide range of services, including wellness exams, surgeries, routine vaccinations, and emergency care.
I just want to thank everybody in the community for trusting us with the care of their animals, and go Cards!
Schedule an appointment by calling 785-542-3265 or visit eudoravet.com.
For the best care for your pet, choose DeSoto Veterinary Clinic. Dr. Matt Fair and his team are dedicated to providing high-quality medical care with compassion and a personal touch. They treat every pet as their own, ensuring they receive the attention and respect they deserve. For routine checkups, testing, vaccinations, chiropractic and acupuncture care, or surgical services, you can trust Dr. Fair and his team at DeSoto Veterinary Clinic. Call 913-585-1115 to schedule an appointment today or visit DeSotoVetClinic.com.
At Fort Scott Community College, we understand that a scary part of figuring out your future isn't only answering the question, what should I do, but where do I belong? Maybe you belong here, preparing for a career in healthcare.
Tonight the flag will be raised by Scouts BSA Troop 64 and Scouts BSA Troop 6064 and PAX 3064.
we are getting closer and closer to time for our opening kickoff here at Cardinal Arena, which will be brought to us by Wolf Diagnostic and Automotive. Since 2005, Wolf Diagnostic and Automotive has been keeping Eudora moving. You can find them at 208 East Street. From tune-ups to major repairs, they service all makes and models with honesty and care. Call 785-542-5152 today, and Wolf Diagnostic will get you back on the road quickly. I have a bit of a correction looking at the history of this matchup. It's actually 15-3 all-time series for the Cards. They did first meet in 2008, but the first win for Ottawa came in 2013 by a score of 27-7. Even though the first few times the Cardinals met with the Cyclones, it was a bloodbath for the Cards. They won 49-7 in 2008, only 7-0 in 2009, and then 49-0 in 2010. It's grown closer and closer to the 27-7 loss in 2013. 2016 was the next time Ottawa got the better of the Cards, and it was a long stretch there of the Cards getting the better of the Cyclones, including a playoff victory in 2021 until 2023, and the Cyclones got another win over the Cards. But last year, the Cards got the win on the road and are looking to try and defend their home turf here against the Cyclones and grab sole leadership of the Frontier League here early on in the season. Well, early on is how it feels, but we're about to cross the midway point already here. These high school seasons can go by so quickly. It is going to be great weather here for football. It is about 77 degrees right now. You can see the sun is slowly going down. It'll set during the game and it'll get cooler, around 65 degrees by the time this game is done. And your Cardinals coming out onto the field here. We've got about 11 minutes left till kickoff, but we can stick around here. I think we'll get starting lineups from the PA announcer. I will just let the scene talk to you here from Cardinal Arena.
Eudora fans, here come your Cardinals!
It'll be interesting once we get these starting lineups to hear who's announced as QB1 for the Cards. First, we get to hear defensive starters.
Number 3, Armoni Velez. Number 7, Gavin Seaton. Number 10, Landon Craver. Number 11, Xander Rogers. Number 12, Jace Morning. Number 17, Nick Walker. Number 22, Chase Myers. Number 24, Liam Parler. Number 55, Keegan Manning. and number 66, Tobias Thompson. Head coach for the Cyclones, Walt Alexander. And now the defensive starter for your Cardinals, a 6'2" junior, number 0, Brock Long. 5'8" sophomore, number 2, Dan Eudora. A 5'10" senior, number 7, Bryce Mulvihill. A 5'10" junior, number 15, Duke Schreiner. 6'1" junior, number 17, Riley Knight. A 5'11" sophomore, number 21, Keelan Duncan. A 5'10" senior, number 24, Colton Bowser. At 6 foot, a junior, number 33, Elijah Poe. A 6'1" senior, number 50, Brady Marks. A 5'10" junior, number 55, Garrett Galway. And a 6'2" senior, number 72, Leland Bradshaw. Head coach for the Cardinals, Bruce Steffen.
I wasn't sure if we were going to get offensive starters or not from our PA here. If we do, we will bring you right back. Coin toss coming up soon, which we heard from Coach Steffen that he and his assistant head coach have different mindsets. His assistant head coach, the offensive coordinator, Coach Tharp, likes to set the tone. Coach Steffen, more of a defensive minded, likes to defer. Both have their advantages and both take different aspects. You'd hate to go into the second half trailing, and you'd hate to set a bad tone to start the game. But we will see what the Cardinals do when coin toss comes up and opening kickoff, which is supposed to be within the next 4 minutes. We'll go to another break here on Eudora Sports Live.
At Fort Scott Community College, we understand.
Charlie was born at LMH. We had a great team of nurses. Not only did they check in on us regularly, they always asked if we had questions, always made sure that we understood what was going on. I cannot say enough wonderful things about the labor and delivery, family birthing, and mother baby care team at LMH Health. We had to put our entire trust into their hands, and just everyone was so friendly and so supportive.
For the best care for your pet, choose DeSoto Veterinary Clinic. Dr. Matt Fair and his team are dedicated to providing high-quality medical care with compassion and a personal touch. They treat every pet as their own, ensuring they receive the attention and respect they deserve. For routine checkups, testing, vaccinations, chiropractic and acupuncture care, or surgical services, you can trust Dr. Fair and his team at DeSoto Veterinary Clinic. Call 913-585-1115 to schedule an appointment today or visit DeSotoVetClinic.com.
At Fort Scott Community College, we understand that a scary part of figuring out your future isn't only answering the question, what should I do, but where do I belong? Maybe you belong here as part of Fort Scott Community College's John Deere Tech program. Maybe you belong here as part of the perennial playoff-bound Greyhound baseball team. I don't know where you've been or where you're headed, but I know we're saving a spot for you because you belong at Fort Scott Community College.
At Kansas Insurance, we know one size doesn't fit all. In fact, our whole mindset is based on customized policies for you and your families. We're local, and we do what we do because we care about you. Think of us as brokers for your insurance needs. Working with Kansas Insurance gets you the award-winning service and attention to detail that only an independent agency can provide. All across Kansas, we're here to help you manage and plan for all types of risk. Contact a local agent today. Kansas Insurance. Local, independent, serving you.
So the atmosphere is ramping up here. The Cardinals won the toss and elected to defer this time. So the Cyclones will receive the ball, and they will be going left to right across your screen. You can see the energy here within Cardinal Arena. They know this is about to be a great game. It's interesting to see that they deferred this time around. Got a mascot here for the Cards. The atmosphere is at an all-time high within Cardinal Arena. It's a good turnout for the Cyclones as well. They've traveled well across the Merdazine River.
That's Chris the Cardinal over there.
It is you and I know very well the atmosphere at a Cyclones home basketball game.
Goodness.
Might be the most ridiculous atmosphere in all of the Frontier League. And
it might be the most ridiculous atmosphere in high school sports in Kansas, dude.
Yeah. And so the Cardinals with a big reputation to live up to here in football season. And the best thing they can do is defend their home turf here with a win against the Cyclones.
And I'll tell you what, Reed, I actually really like the idea of deferring early here because we don't know exactly what the Cyclones offense is going to look like today. We don't know how they're going to try to approach this between running the ball and passing it. We don't know how effective they're going to look without O'Brien and Sims. So I actually like the idea a lot to try to force the Cyclones to get creative early, force them to get those yards. And if the defense, even better, is able to start out with a quick 3 and out and get the ball at half, you'll set yourself up for a very strong night here.
It will be Grayson Moody to kick it deep. Our opening kickoff brought to us by Wolf Diagnostic and Automotive. And with a few steps and a boot, we are underway here at Cardinal Arena. It will be caught right at the edge of the end zone and brought out here. And he's going to be brought down right at the 20. That's Jace Morning, the junior, being wrapped up. Special teams tackling has been a point of emphasis for the Cards. It's been something that they struggled. They even struggled with it a bit in the win over Spring Hill. It was one of their defensive weak points. That is a great start right there to put them right at the 20-yard line. It's going to be an eye on the passing game here. Hayden Hull, the starting quarterback. He's the senior, one of the leading seniors on this Cyclones team. The Cardinals have been vulnerable against the passing game, specifically deep over the top. It'll be very interesting to see how that plays in here for this game. The first play, though, is going to be a handoff. It'll be a nice tackle there on the running back.
That was Mulvihill who met him.
Mulvihill, yes.
Right at the entrance. I think something else when you bring up just how much of a point of emphasis there is going to be on the passing game for the Cyclones. I think it goes the other way, though, where last week against the Broncos, something the Cards were so good at was getting in the backfield and forcing Spring Hill to get really crafty in the pass game. If this defense for the Cards is able to pin their ears back early, they can get some pressure on Hull right off the bat.
Motion man, it's going to be a short throw. It is caught, and it looks like they've got the first down here. A few different defenders in on the tackle, including Mulvihill and Leland Bradshaw. There's McCullough on the reception, moving the chains for the Cyclones.
Yeah, it's a good start for him. I think this opening drive, obviously when you get the ball first, you always want to get this drive off well. You always want to try to get points early on if you can. But especially with off the heels of how strong the Cards were last week, a scoring drive here would put a massive exclamation point on the night for the Cyclones.
1st and 10, another give here up the middle. Wrapped up after a gain of a few. Tackle came in from Newt Schreiner.
Yeah, Schreiner and Mulvihill getting tackles early on certainly speaks to last week as well. They were both all over the place. Newt Schreiner in particular was everywhere in the backfield, was giving Spring Hill a ton of issues in the pass game last week. I believe he had at least 1 sack to his name, if I recall correctly.
In the absence of Julius O'Brien, Armani Velez, the junior, 5'9", 173, is the running back. But this give is going to be to Landon Traver, and he's not going to get anywhere. Brought down in the backfield, Brock Long, Newt Schreiner, and Garrett Golay all in on the tackle.
That was impressive. I think Golay got to him first, but that's going to be big tonight. I think if the Cyclones are able to get started on this drive tonight and run the ball really well and not go backwards a whole lot, that's what they're going to try to do for the rest of the night. Little plays like that for the Cards, just forcing the shutdown early, making the Cyclones aware of it. It's going to be big.
After the loss of 2, 3rd and 7, Hull wants to throw, under pressure from Nice. Nice chasing him down, now Golay as well. Hull, though, finds some space, he's running with it, and he goes out of bounds shy of the line to gain. It'll be close, though. This will be 4th and short after the running, the keeper by Hayden Hull.
Yeah, I think I don't want to say go for it. You're kind of sitting in no man's land between the 40-yard lines. It's usually described as no man's land. It looks like the punt unit is going to come out.
Indeed, Leighton Thompson comes out.
I don't dislike that early at all. I think you got it. You got a good first down. You had a handful of good plays. Certainly didn't let the Cards walk all over you early here.
The Cards didn't have the right personnel out there. They'll call a timeout to make sure they get everything situated. We'll go ahead and keep you here. First timeout of the first half. It'll be interesting to see if Coach Walt Alexander rethinks anything here on the 4th and 3. That's definitely not the hope with Stefan calling that timeout. He just wanted to make sure he's got the right people out there on the field. This is an interesting territory to not go for it. I think part of it is it's just so early. But 4th and 3, honestly, if they went for it, I would think that they would probably get it.
Yes.
But it's just that risk of if you don't. Even if it's 75-25, which is probably giving them more favorable odds than it actually is, if that 25 comes to pass, you're going to be in a really tough spot early. So I think they just want to play it safe.
Yeah, and I think that comes in it comes in even bigger when you think about how much momentum the Cards are walking in here tonight on, how well they played last week. If that play gets stuffed or goes backwards, or Newt Schreiner or Mulvihill or somebody shoots through a gap and stuffs this play, that is a much bigger negative play than the positivity you would have gotten out of keeping the drive going.
However, coming out of the Cardinals timeout, the Cyclones are now set to go for it. Hull in the shotgun, drops back, wants to throw, under pressure from Nice, who dives for his ankles, doesn't get him. Hull throwing deep, got a man, it's caught! Inside the 20, Bryson Schulte puts them in the red zone.
Well, I still stand by. It would have been a bigger risk of negativity than it was for positivity, unless you get a 40-yard completion on it. Then it kind of flips.
I think it might have been even more than that, maybe 40 yards in the air.
Yeah,
that was a big play there, and they are now all of a sudden in the red zone. And they had been set to punt. The Cardinals made to regret the fact they didn't have the personnel set and had to call a timeout. 1st and 10, Hull hands it off. This is Velez going to the right side. Wrapped up and brought down by Duncan inside the 5.
Yeah, it's going to be a tough hold here. We did see the red zone defense for the Cards last week was really, really impressive. But this is not red zone. This is right up against the goal line. Certainly a tough spot here.
There's a flag on the field here. So instead of it being an and goal situation, holding against the Cyclones will back them, or rather, illegal block in the back will send them out of the red zone. Now sitting at the 24-yard line.
That will negate that gain and take the ball back to the Eudora 34.
1st and 17, so it's from the spot of the foul. It's a really nice run by Velez.
It does. That's a little bit of a saving grace for the Cards here early, I think. Gives them way more breathing room.
Motion is Traver. Rolling to his left hole. He wants to keep this one. And he will go outside. Delay chasing him out. And Des Hugler making the tackle. For minimal gain there on 1st and 17.
Yeah, and of course it would be, you want to come out of here with no points, and saying you want to get away with just a field goal does not speak to the standard they set by getting right up into the red zone. However, this is not easy field goal range right here. If the Cardinals defense is able to hold and able to withstand here, they could still escape this without giving up points. That is still a realistic possibility.
Well, we heard from people on the Ottawa side that the kicking game hasn't been extremely reliable for them here. This is a 4 wide. He's going to go to the strong side and completely open all by himself. Touchdown, Chaden Knapp, the senior. No one in the same area code. It is a touchdown for the Cyclones, and on a drive that looked set to end only a little bit ago, ends with them getting 6 here and taking the lead early.
It almost looks like a lot of the Cards players are straight up perplexed after that play. I mean, of course, never planned to leave anyone that open, but it looks like they were completely lost entirely on personnel there.
And the kick is up and good, so a 7-point lead for Ottawa. We will go to a break. Oh, no, rather no good is the kick. So there are those kicking game struggles. It stays 6-0 for Ottawa. We'll go to a quick break.
At Fort Scott Community College, we understand that a scary part of figuring out your future isn't only answering the question, what should I do, but where do I belong? Maybe you belong here, preparing for a career in healthcare as part of Fort Scott Community College's nursing program. Or maybe you belong on stage as part of the Hounds band or theater department. I don't know where you've been or where you're headed, but I know we're saving a spot for you because you belong at Fort Scott Community College.
More time before you wake up in the wild.
Our natural world needs us now. Step by step, side by side, together, we can find a way to ensure that all life on Earth can thrive. To learn more about how you can help protect and conserve nature, visit nature.org.
Hubler and White deep to return here. This is a short kickoff. It'll be fair caught, which is a smart move there from Jay Noble. Make sure he doesn't get absolutely blown up there. That'll be a good spot for the Cardinals to start their opening drive of the game. But man, it is a tough pill to swallow when the Cyclones were ready to punt, and then the Cards called the timeout to get the personnel set, and then the Cyclones end up getting a huge play and turning it into a touchdown drive. And there's going to be a lot to look at, the fact that the receiver Knapp was able to get so open on that touchdown play. But now the Cardinals can just try and respond here and maybe even take the lead with their first offensive drive starting in decent territory. Duncan in motion, had a rushing touchdown last year against the Cyclones. Moody gets brought down in the backfield. A flag came in early. Also in the backfield, Moody, though, brought down for a loss, which means that if this penalty goes against the Cards, it could very well be declined. Talking things over with the Ottawa Cyclone sideline. Probably not good news for the Cards. Can confirm Houston Carnegie gets the start at the quarterback position today in absence of Cy Thomas. Holding on the Cardinals is declined. So the first play given to Grayson Moody goes for, looked like a loss of about 4.
Up to their own 32-yard line for the second and 32.
Oh my, second and 32.
I didn't think he lost that many. He would have had to lose.
No, that is not right.
Second and 12.
Second and 16.
There we go.
Here's a give to Moody. He cuts up and is trying to get back to the original line of scrimmage.
Basically did.
So now it's going to be 3rd and 11 here. An interesting spot for the Cards. Do they go to the passing game Or do they stick with the run, maybe play it conservative, except that they may have to punt on this opening drive?
I think we're gonna get to see what Houston Carnegie's made of here early on. I
don't know. I think it's probably a conservative approach and just punt and pin them deep. You're in a good spot where you can have a favorable punt.
Yeah, and we also know both of these running backs are capable of breaking off long runs, so that possibility is never off the table.
Preston White out wide. We will see what Carnegie's got. He throws, and it's off the hands of White, and the Cardinals are fortunate that that was not tipped into the hands of waiting defenders' arms. It will be 4th and 11, and the Cardinals will have to punt. But we do see some trust put in the arm of Houston Carnegie. He had one passing attempt last year against the Cyclones. He's got one already here, and he had a man just...
He did.
Sailed it a little over the head of Preston White. So Dunback will punt this one away. It bounces to him, but he fields it cleanly. Punt won't go very far, though. It will find, which is where the Cyclones will begin their second drive, leading by 6.
Down by Eudora's Braden Marks at the Ottawa 42-yard
So now, you've given up one touchdown is no cause for concern early on. Opening drives, we see those scores all the time. I think now this drive is fairly significant. If you go down in a 2-score hole midway through the first, that's certainly a little bit of cause for urgency early on. But nonetheless, we've seen this defense come up big with explosive plays across the board. We've seen them last week. The execution was absolutely phenomenal. I don't want to hold them to that standard all the time, but certainly capable of it.
Cardinals jump here. Riley Nice and Bradshaw look like they both jumped there.
Flag on the play before the snap against Eudora. Offsides on the Cardinals.
A procedural penalty will give 5 yards to the Cyclones.
And that's going to be something that coach is not necessarily happy about. We have seen procedural penalties occur numerous times already earlier this season. It was a point of emphasis of his actually when we talked to him a couple of weeks ago.
Hull wants to throw, but now tucks and runs. He's got the 1st and more, and he will slide down. Surrounded by 4 or 5 Cardinals. Did not want to take a hit. He puts his team into plus territory.
Already over midfield. I like what I'm seeing from the Cyclones offense a lot. They've been really well balanced. They've been efficient. Haven't been making a lot of mistakes. As a matter of fact, some beautiful play designs on that scoring play last drive.
2 wide, 2 in the backfield, accompanying Hayden Hull. Hull will give. This is Velez finding the outside on the right, stiff arms a man, and he gets 8 or 9.
It just puts the defense that this defense wants to be aggressive. They are the kind of squad that wants to be able to pin their ears back, go rush the passer, go kind of take the leash off. But you're not able to in a situation like this. When you're being pushed back so consistently, it's hard to ever feel like you really have the option of getting really, really aggressive, kind of letting that energy and that pursuit take over. It's hard to do it if you feel like you're on the back foot constantly, as they've been early on here.
2nd and 1, and they've got 4 wide. I always think about this is a great situation to try and go deep and still have a very manageable 3rd and 1 if you want. That is exactly the thinking here for the Cyclones, and it's Knapp who's open again. And this time he's brought down inside the 5. He has found all kinds of space deep against this Cardinals defense here early in his first quarter.
Yeah, Reed, I'll give you a little bit of credit. You mentioned early on in the season that we had seen some of these Cards defenders get beat deep occasionally, even when they weren't punished for it with completions. You had mentioned over and over that it just seemed like that's where this defense could have potentially been weak, was down the field on these longer passing plays, and we've seen it get exposed multiple times already.
Well, yeah, and this Cyclones team is going to rely on Hayden Hull a lot. This is a give to Velez. He's got space. He will score. Touchdown for the Cyclones. They've already got 12 on the board. But I was saying Hayden Hull is going to be the main guy that they rely on because they've had everything else taken away. Their number 1 receiver taken out, their number 1 running back taken out. So you're going to want to see stuff from Hayden Hull, and he is pulling off some great plays and also connecting with a fellow senior, Chaden Knapp, for the first touchdown. But now Armani Velez, the junior, gets into the end zone here, and they're going to try and go for 2. Hull looking to throw, looking to the right side, has a man, and it is caught. 14-0 is our score. The Cyclones.
Nope. Bowser signaling, trying to signal incomplete.
2-point conversion attempt good.
Cyclones with a dominant start this game as they are up by 2 scores early in this game. We'll go to a break.
Charlie was born.
$14-0 is our score. It'll be Hubler and White deep to return. I can tell you the Cyclones put up 14 points in the first quarter of last year's matchup with the Cardinals where they lost 24-21.
Yep.
There is no reason to lose hope in this Cardinals team at this point in the game. Noble will bring this one in again. Another short kickoff.
Caught by Jay Noble.
I think the thought there is that it almost works like an onside kick, and if Noble or any given Cardinals player is to fail to field that cleanly,
right,
they could maybe try and get on that, because otherwise it would make a lot more sense to try and pin the Cardinals as deep as they possibly could.
Well, we also heard some mentions of some extra point kicking woes, so it could be just a factor of that being as far as they're able to safely get it consistently.
5:29 to go in this first quarter. Carnegie under center. Hands this one off. Moody will go for 4 yards.
As much as that's not particularly flashy, I don't dislike that early.
It's a lot better than a loss of 6.
Correct. If you're able to do that over and over and over, I know Grayson Moody likes those runs to the outside because it gives you so much room to turn those jets on and go if you make a man miss. But oftentimes if you don't make a man miss, that's where the negative plays come from. That's where moving backwards can come from so often. So if just going up the gut makes more sense, I got no opposition to it.
2nd and 6. Another give for Moody. And into a jumble of bodies. Looks like a similar gain, maybe 3 or 4.
And sets up 3rd down and very manageable. Again, we saw the Cards have already trusted Houston Carnegie a little bit in these passing situations. Now, granted, I would probably still lean towards running the ball here at 3rd and short, but very much so gives the option where if you want to try a check down or something over the middle, one of those higher percentage passes with Carnegie's hands, you certainly could.
It will be 3rd and 3 here. The Cardinals trying to avoid a second consecutive 3 and out.
It's a big 3rd down.
Duncan in motion. Carnegie tosses to Moody. Moody jumps over him, and he's got the 1st and more. Grayson Moody still going, still on his feet, and Grayson Moody will tumble down at the 32-yard line.
Man, he just kept going. That was absolutely massive for that 3rd down in that situation. To be able to break away with that one, that is a momentum boost that these Cardinals desperately needed at this point in the night.
It looked for a second like it was going to be a big play just to get the 1st down. He had to jump over a defender immediately. And then it went for 10, 15, 20, 30. He kept going. 1st and 10 at the 32.
And if not tripping, he may not go for more.
Another give to Moody. And he's pushing for the 1st down. He's going to get it. A nice assist there from Cage Crable as they run over the Cyclones defense.
Crable amped up on it. I haven't played offensive line before, but just from watching the sport at all levels, there is nothing offensive linemen love more than getting to help out on a shove. A little bit of an assist, and after not having a 1st down yet on the day, Cards now have them on back-to-back plays.
Same formation here. Carnegie under center, Duncan in motion. Another give to Moody, and he was pulled back immediately. No gain on that one.
Pretty impressive job to remain close to the line of scrimmage there. Kind of going backwards a little bit, but not a ton.
Moody with the carry, tackled by Velez.
His opposing running back, Velez, was the one bringing him down.
And now, Reed, I'll bring it up. We don't want to think about field goals yet, but if you need to from this spot, we know Caden Dunback can.
That's true. We made a 43-yarder last week. And last season, a field goal was the difference. 24-21 was the winning score for the Cards. This time it's a give to Keelan Duncan. Duncan cuts in, going towards the end zone. Duncan will score. Touchdown, Eudora Cardinals.
And that's the beauty of that. The beauty of that two-headed monster at running back between Duncan and Moody is if they finally start to get a feel for one, they start to get a feel for Moody. He can just turn right back to running back number 2, give Duncan the edge. A little bit different of a running style, different vision. Catches the Cyclones flat-footed. And just like that, we've got ourselves a very tight ball game once again here.
Duncan with another rushing touchdown against the Cyclones. Dunback will look to make it 14-7. Snap down. And it is up and good. So the score is 14-7. The Cardinals are back in the game here with 2:19 to go in the first quarter.
Charlie was born at LMH. We had a great team of nurses. Not only did they check in on us regularly, they always asked if we had questions, always made sure that we understood what was going on. I cannot say enough wonderful things about the labor and delivery, family birthing, and mother baby care team at LMH Health. We had to put our entire trust into their hands, and just everyone was so friendly and so supportive.
At Fort Scott Community College, we understand that a scary part of figuring out your future isn't only answering the question, what should I do, but where do I belong? Maybe you belong here, studying animal science or learning about farm and ranch management. Maybe you belong here as part of Hounds Hoops on the hardwood. I don't know where you've been or where you're headed, but I know we're saving a spot for you because you belong at Fort Scott Community College.
Moody kicks this one off. It is a deep kickoff and it'll go all the way into the end zone for a touchback. The score 14-7. Grayson Moody leading the drive, saving the drive on a 3rd and 3 play, and then finished off by Keelan Duncan, a very strong running back duo who combined for 291 yards just between the two of them last year against the Cyclones.
And it's such a tough spot for a defense to be in. I mean, we know the Cyclones defense looked fairly strong on the first possession for the Cards, but that time around we saw a little more of the identity come out where the Cards like to get aggressive on the ground and then right when you start to adjust to one, back the other one.
Cole with the play action. Under pressure. And he's going to be wrapped up and brought down for a loss. Garrett Golay comes up celebrating. He was there with a couple other Cardinals teammates in the backfield to bring down Hayden Holt.
Rylan Nice and Newt Schreiner there with him, and I can tell you all 3 of those guys were giving the Spring Hill Broncos trouble in the backfield when they were passing the ball last week too. The amount of plays where it looked very similar to that, where the Broncos quarterback, I believe it was Miller, was just running around like crazy trying to find room and never had it.
That was exactly what Coach Steffen said. He said they wanted to pressure the quarterback and then tackle him out in the wide spaces. Now he's looking to throw deep. Eyes downfield, under pressure, gets it out. And a one-on-one, and it will fall incomplete, and it was clean coverage by Colton Bowser.
That's about as good as it gets. I know it's easy to look at a play like that and go, how do you let him catch it? But oftentimes the even harder thing to do is to break it up and not get flagged for it. Because when it's one-on-one, if the ref sees a jersey get tugged or a player fall one way or the other, you could so easily get called for pass interference on it. And Colton Bowser, as you mentioned, just picture perfect coverage there.
I did have the thought for a second of, oh boy, here we go again, because it looked like Bowser took a bad step and was going to be beat by the receiver in that one-on-one, but he was able to force the incompletion against Landon Traver. And it is now 3rd and 10. The Cardinals with some strong defense here, and flags will come in. False start, backing up the Cyclones. All of a sudden, it feels like that start to the Spring Hill game for the Cards. Feels like momentum has fully shifted their way. And remember, the first drive when the Cyclones started at this same part of the field, the Cardinals were able to get them to 4th and 3. And were it not for personnel adjustments, that would have resulted in a 3-and-out to start the game. I think there could very well be something to having the offense backed up, that they have to change their play calling in such a way that the Cardinals are able to defend it well.
Absolutely. Well, deep passes involve deep drops, and when you don't have as much room before the end zone, you can't drop as far.
4 wide here on 3rd and 15. Pressure on Hull. Still under a lot of pressure, running around in the pocket, now escapes the pocket. Still wants to throw, will throw, has a receiver, and that one hit the ground incomplete.
Oh, Hubler celebrating, but he was very close to possibly getting beat there. Nonetheless, Cards defense, the pass rush does their job, and Cards come up big for a stop here.
It's a great throw by Hull to find Travers.
It is.
Who was in some, he had some grass. Absolutely, he had some green grass. But the throw just a little bit short.
How phenomenal of a job to even get that throw off, too. I mean, he had to run and zigzag between his linemen numerous times just for the opportunity to even throw that ball. And now this punt a little bit risky. You never love to be a punter standing in your own end zone.
Yeah, 4th and 15. They're going to hope for a really good punt here, but their kickoffs haven't been great. This one will not go far. A flag comes down, and the Cardinals will fall on it in the red zone. It's Osborne pulling it up, but a flag came in right at the time of the kick. We'll see what happens here on this 4th and 15 punt.
You hope it's not contact with the kicker of any kind.
Flag down on the play. Flag down on
There was a shanked punt. I think we can now fully understand what's going on with the kickoffs. They just have some struggles with the kicking game. And what is the call here? Holding on the Cyclones, declined. So the Cardinals are going to start here inside the red zone.
Man. And now you don't have to deal with the midfield struggles of trying to find out how to get first downs, or if the run game gets stifled, you get just a couple of good plays and the Cards can tie this game up at the end of a wild first quarter.
This ball is spotted at the 13-yard line. It doesn't get a much better starting spot than that.
He gets exactly 12 numbers better than that. That's it.
White is the receiver on the right side. Carnegie under center. Takes the snap. A handoff up the middle. Was it a give to Moody, of course?
Duncan's helmet actually came off on the pile there.
That means he'll have to take a snap on the sideline.
Yep, he's signaling to the coach, said my helmet came off.
They don't have a sub immediately ready.
It is Colton Bowser
throw
coming
in
out.
there Colton Bowser, who was taking a breather on the bench.
He said, man, I was just playing defense.
It'll be 2nd and 6, 30 seconds to go here in this first quarter, which all of a sudden looks like it could end with a tie score. But whistles blow. I don't see any flags. We've got a timeout by Eudora. Cardinals take their second timeout. We'll go ahead and also take a quick break with them.
At Fort Scott Community College, we understand that a scary part of figuring out your isn't only answering the question, what should I do, but where do I belong? Maybe you belong here, studying animal science or learning about farm and ranch management. Maybe you belong here as part of Hounds Hoops on the hardwood. I don't know where you've been or where you're headed, but I know we're saving a spot for you because you belong at Fort Scott Community College.
At Kansas Insurance, we know one size doesn't fit all. In fact, our whole mindset is based on customized policies for you and your families. We're local, and we do what we do because we care about you. Think of us as brokers for your insurance needs. Working with Kansas Insurance gets you the award-winning service and attention to detail that only an independent agency can provide. All across Kansas, we're here to help you manage and plan for all types of risk. Contact a local agent today. Kansas Insurance. Local, independent, serving you.
All right, 25 seconds to go here in this first quarter. Out of the Cardinals timeout, already taken 2 here in this first quarter. But they are knocking on the end zone, trying to tie this game. The give to Moody, fighting for more. Still Grayson Moody, and he is brought down probably short of the first down marker, which means we will go to 3rd down, and that will probably be the last play of this first quarter. See where they spot this before we go to the quarter break. It will be the last play. They call it a gain of 1. So it'll be 3rd and 5, and they will be on the other side of the field when we come back after this break.
At Kansas Insurance, we know one size doesn't fit all. In fact, our whole mindset is based on customized policies.
For the best care for your pet, choose DeSoto Veterinary Clinic. Dr. Matt Fair and his team are dedicated to providing high-quality medical care with compassion and a personal touch. They treat every pet as their own, ensuring they receive the attention and respect they deserve. For routine checkups, testing, vaccinations, chiropractic and acupuncture care, or surgical services, you can trust Dr. Fair and his team at DeSoto Veterinary Clinic. Call 913-585-1115 to schedule an appointment today or visit DeSotoVetClinic.com.
All right, we get going here on the second quarter as the Cardinals trying to get into the end zone once again. I can tell you, once again, 14-7 was the final score of the first quarter last year when the Cardinals won this matchup in Ottawa, need I remind you, by a score of 24-21. It was indeed a Cyclones 7-point lead after 12 minutes last time around. Cards here will have 3rd and 5 from the 8-yard line. You'd presume that Grayson Moody is option number 1 as always, but could they look to try and throw with Carnegie as we saw them do on 3rd and 11 in the first quarter? Carnegie keeps this one, and he's gonna go. He's got the first down. He is hit hard, but it's a touchdown. On the RPO, Houston Carnegie keeps to the end zone. Another rushing touchdown for the Cards. It's 14-13.
And it now feels like the momentum has thoroughly flipped on its head here. We have not seen Ottawa really have a productive drive in maybe 4 or 5 minutes of game time. And in that time, the Cards have completely flipped the dynamic here in Cardinal Arena. Feels like they're on fire, and the Cyclones struggling to gain ground.
And now Dunback with a chance to tie this game. Snap, hold, kick. And it is good. 14-14. The Cardinals have come back and tied this game here 6 seconds into the second quarter. And for the first time, we differ from the scoring that was the way the Cardinals won last year, because at halftime, so it was 14-7 after the first quarter, it was 14-10 at halftime, still the Cyclones leading. So this is a whole new ball game, as it already was, but we are no longer following the script of last year's Cardinals victory as they have tied it up here, and we still have the entire second quarter to play.
And also worth mentioning, we were talking in the pregame show about how tough it would be for the Cyclones to put up that 40-point mark once again, because the Cards were presumably just going to run the ball and keep them off the field. 14 points, if you go through 4 quarters, they could very well touch that mark again. That is an extremely true possibility. But as with a lot of things, I would imagine these teams acclimate to each other a little bit, and things likely slow down a bit more. But you never know. It's been a wild first quarter here in turn of events that we have not seen. I don't know if we've seen a lot of this across the Frontier League all season to this point.
Moody will kick it off. Osborne and Morning back deep. It's a lower squib kick. It will get back to Morning, who picks it up at the 16. And now he's going with the head of steam. This is Morning at the 40, now the 50. And he will go down in Cardinals territory. Grayson Moody had to be the one to bring him down. Big return by Jace Morning.
Well, Reed, that's tough, because you and I had floated the idea on the last drive for Ottawa that stalled when they were in their own red zone just about. It seems like there has been a component tonight to how the Cyclones drives go, and they seem to correlate with where those drives start at. If they start backed up, they seem to struggle a bit. If they start with good field position, they've been really effective, and they're past the 50 to start this drive.
It's something I mentioned right away when this game started. The special teams tackling has been difficult for the Cards, and it is difficult in general, but it can be very costly, as this was a give to Velez, and he will get 3 or 4 before being brought down by a couple of Cards, including Duncan.
Well, Reed, that's the whole point on the kickoffs, I think. When Moody squib kicks that a little bit lower, you saw how many of those Cardinals bodies came flying in on Morning right away. I think the whole goal is you kick it low, give them less time to respond, and try to bury them deep. The problem is if he's able to escape, you've got so few personnel back behind to help.
And the 2 drives where the Cardinals started with the Cyclones in bad territory was the ones that went really well for them. which no surprise there. Velez wrapped up immediately and brought down by one of the captains of this team, Braden Marks.
And if this Cards defense is able to get aggressive again, if they're able to really start hitting that flow state like they hit midway through that Spring Hill game last week, it makes them really, really dangerous. It's just going to be a matter of how well the Cyclones respond, because if that snowball gets rolling, it's a tough one to stop.
3rd and 6 here, 3 wide, 2 in the backfield. Man in motion is McCullough. Hull goes to his right and then throws back across his left to find Knapp. And Knapp has the first and more. Knapp still going. And he is stopped just shy of the red zone. Mulvihill pushing him out. Remember, Knapp scored the first touchdown of this game by being completely wide open. Hull went to the strong side, threw it across to the weak side of the play, and Knapp was able to convert the 3rd down and put the Cyclones in a good spot.
Man, if they would have been able to bring him down there, that could have been such a phenomenal way to escape a drive that looked like it could have gone the distance. Yet the Cyclones, as we mentioned, they respond well.
Again, 2 wide. This time a give to Velez. He's finding some room up the right side. Looks like maybe 3 or 4 on the pickup. Tackle come in by Newt Schreiner. Oh, excuse me, Von Holton in on the tackle.
And something I got to keep keeping in mind here, we're essentially looking at a 0-0 ball game. Remember, at 14-14, both these teams' coaching staffs are likely saying, play this out as if it's the very beginning. Act as if you haven't scored yet.
A lot of receivers here in this formation. Hull wants the 1v1. No good over there. Looks like they were testing. Was that Hubler over there in coverage?
It was. Yep. And credit to him there with Bowser and Hubler back there in defense. It looks like that's not... I don't want to talk about pass interference penalties too much, but throwing a ball up like that, you're always putting the DBs in a little bit of a tough spot. Of how aggressive do you get? Do you go for something more aggressive with higher risk, higher reward? But Hubler does a really good job to remain technically, fundamentally very sound there.
Big 3rd down here on the edge of the red zone. Hull takes the snap, hands to Velez, and he's going to be wrapped up and brought down immediately. That's Elijah Clobes, the starting linebacker, making no mistake there. 1v1 tackling, phenomenal. Elijah Clobes.
Cards defense letting them know too. This home crowd is extremely pleased with it. Love to see the stop, especially in the spot where they have a lot of pressure on them on that 3rd down.
So what happens here now? 4th and 7 at the 20-yard line. Looks like the offense staying out there for the Cyclones. No field goal here.
I would probably go for it too. I'd be going for it too here, I think.
Hull with the play action, looking to the left, throws across the middle, has a man caught. No, dropped. Incomplete. A turnover on downs. It was a perfect throw. It tore the Cardinals defense apart, but they end up doing just enough to force a turnover on downs, and they will start with the ball right at the 20.
Oh, man. And Hull seems to know it, too. Knows he put the ball in a good spot. Knows he did what he was supposed to do. Just high pressure, bright lights. Even if you put the ball in a good spot, such a tricky catch to make in the moment for these high school age players.
And you know, Mulvihill may have gotten a hand to that. He was the defender in coverage. He was right there draped on the receiver.
It's possible.
Either way, it falls incomplete, and it is a huge play for the Cardinals defense, who now have the ball back and a chance to take the lead perhaps. Here's a give to the running back. Is that Duncan getting the first carry of this drive for the first time?
It is.
He scored the first touchdown for the Cardinals in this game.
And Moody circled back around the other way, which is always going to take a little bit of attention away. Divert just a bit.
That's going to play by Walker and Rogers. Attention fans, important message. There's a red Saturn View blocking the fire truck. This red Saturn View needs
Preston White out wide on the left. A couple running backs either side of Carnegie, who had to jump to catch that snap. Gave it off to Moody, who's got the first down before he is lifted up and brought down.
Almost looks like that ball might have come out.
Yeah.
Duncan is the one who gets up with it, it looks like.
That's exactly right. Moody did fumble there. Keelan Duncan recovered. The Cardinals last week recovered 3 offensive fumbles, which it's good that they were able to maintain possession, but of course a big problem when you're putting the ball on the ground. They also had a fumble that got returned for a touchdown for Spring Hill, which was accounted for half of their scoring on the Cardinals' great defensive play in that game. But the Cards fortunate here. Duncan comes away with it. Here is the 3rd down play up the middle, and the Cardinals will convert.
A big pile there. We're seeing all kinds of aggression at the line of scrimmage from both sides. It has been a war on both sides, regardless of whether it's been Ottawa or Eudora on offense. And that tells me something about the way the rest of the night's going to wear on. If the line of scrimmage is aggressive early in the first half, it's only going to get more and more tenacious as the night proceeds.
First and 10 here, 7:20 to go before halftime. Duncan gives it to Moody. And Moody gets probably 6 there, 6 or 7.
Did a good job to spin it with his back to the forward progress and just kind of fall backwards. Even when he doesn't have a lot of help, just such a dynamic player and such a tough one to bring down and slow down.
After a hot start for the Cyclones, the Cardinals have fully taken control of the momentum at this point. And maybe now the Cyclones trying to grab a bit of that back, putting up a brick wall. But the Cardinals have been able to find a few loose bricks in the wall. Another give to Moody. And he is hit hard near the first down marker, and he has got another first for the Cards. They're driving.
Looks like that was Nick Walker maybe. Just slammed it. That was a complete collision course there. Did pick up the first on it nonetheless.
Eudora continuing to nickel and dime their way down the field through the run game. Preston White, the receiver on the left. Carnegie in shotgun, a high snap given to Duncan. And Duncan gets 1 before he's brought down. Tackle coming in from Gavin Seaton.
Make that a penny, a nickel and a dime at the time to move down the field here.
It's interesting seeing Carnegie in the shotgun rather than under center. He's had to catch a few high snaps, but he did an amazing job to catch that high snap and then get it into the hands of Duncan so quickly. Almost like he performed sleight of hand there to get it off to the running back. And here he is under center this time on 2nd and 9. Takes the snap, given to Moody. No, this is Duncan. Duncan with some shifty moves, cuts right, cuts left, and he goes down around the 35-yard line. Keelan Duncan puts the Cards into Cyclones territory.
And it's something we mentioned quite a bit, and we'll continue to mention it with what the Cards' identity is. One of the biggest upsides, of course, there are many to being such a run-heavy team if you can execute it, is if you're able to do it well early in the night, it's only going to get more effective the later on you go. As you start to wear on that defensive line opposing you more and more and more, those gaps will get harder to keep shut, and the running backs in turn will be able to rip off bigger runs later in the game as the defense gets tired.
Cards eating time as well on this drive. Carnegie with the handoff. Moody down at the 30.
Another little detail I love from Coach Steffen is that he's got both of the running backs in basically full time at this point. You would see it in some other games early in the year where, depending on the formation, they'd swap out one or the other. This time around, with how much Ottawa is focusing on the run game, he's been a little cheeky there to leave both of them in. Just gives a little eye candy for Ottawa to look at.
They give to Moody. Moody still going. Man, is he strong. First down, Cards.
And this is that upside, talking about it. We're only in the second quarter, and you can already see these running backs are falling forward for yards that they weren't able to get early in the first quarter. Those gaps just opening up a little bit more, and not to mention you're getting all that morale and energy on your side. The guys on the offensive line are loving it, enjoying it. It's going to be really tough to stop, but also the importance of not having negative plays. Just keeping those chains rolling forward.
If they keep up this pace, they would hand over very little time to the Cyclones, which is exactly what they would love to do. But Moody won't pass up an opportunity to get to the end zone all in one try.
goodness.
He goes down around the 10 or 11 yard line. It's a gain of 13.
He does not like to go down, man. Not even a little bit. Fights like crazy. I actually saw it early in the drive. Lost the ball as a result of that fight, but just so tough to bring him to the ground. I actually really impressed he stayed in bounds there. Part of me thought he was going to drag the defender out of bounds with him. But as you mentioned, running clock, such a priority right now. Really good heads-up play from Moody there.
We got a flag, though, holding on the cards. Will negate the big run. You mentioned negative plays. It's not a negative play, but it effectively acts like one as it backs the Cardinals up. So what should, I believe, become a 1st and 20 here, unless it's, no, it's from the spot of the infraction, so 1st and 16. More work to do for the Cards, and referee saying to stop the clock. A timeout taken by the Cyclones. They call their first timeout of the first half. We'll go to a quick break.
Freedom of the press is about your right to know. It's about your right to be informed. Today, there are real threats to press freedom and your right to know about the world around us. We must protect our right to know, no matter what kind of news is important to you. Before it's too late, understand the threats. ProtectPressFreedom.org.
Your home for live.
All right, under 4 to go here. Cardinals sitting 1st and 16 after the holding penalty. They have been on a great drive here, though, mainly led by Grayson Moody, but some big plays from Keelan Duncan as well. They're looking towards the end zone, trying to maybe get the last say here in the first half. Hayden, what do you think they do here on this 1st and 16?
I mean, I think the big thing to pay attention to is it is first down, and as effective as they've been on the ground, I don't see any reason to go away from what's been working. And with how effective they've been on a couple of those plays at breaking them off, I say run the ball twice here and see where you're at, go from there. But it's very possible that Moody's able to cut this hold down quickly.
Carnegie wants to throw. He has White. White with the head of steam towards the first down marker, and he's going to get 15 there.
Or get rid of the entire deficit in one passing play, which we hadn't even considered.
A second target of the game for Preston White, his first reception. And he was very near to the first down marker, almost getting it all back just like that. Under center now, Carnegie hands it off to Moody. And Moody gets the first down.
I think that's something underrated about Preston White, too. Although we don't see him get a ton of targets because of the way the Cards tend to play and operate their offense, when he does get targets, he pays them off pretty consistently. If he's able to bring the ball down, he's always dangerous out in open space. What a great drive here, man. Just really, really impressed with what the Cards have been able to execute on. And it does not feel like a 14-14 game right now, the way they've taken control.
It might not be for much longer.
Right.
That passing play will give the Cyclones defense a little bit of something to think about. And if they choose to ignore that possibility, maybe they'll go right back to Preston White. But here is the first down play. Moody cuts, and he's down inside the 5. We've got 2 rushing touchdowns for the Cards today, but neither for the main man, Grayson Moody.
I think the most important thing here to me, if I'm looking in order of priorities, ball control and keeping the ball safe. Security, the #1 priority here, because even if you get stopped and you have to take the points, you've got a 3-point lead with essentially all the momentum right now. Definitely just keep a tight hold on it at this point. Grayson Moody, you mentioned, does not have a rushing touchdown on the night yet.
They're going to want to move slowly here, just continue to drain time off the clock as well. Moody is the central running back here in this formation. He will get the handoff from Carnegie, dive for the end zone, but he's going to be called short.
They did a really good job. He was standing up tall, dove forward, almost looked like someone got underneath him, picked him up to move him back.
So it is 3rd and goal.
From the 3-yard line, they're calling it a long 2 yards.
From the Eudora, from the Ottawa 2-yard line.
So 3rd and 1 from the 2, rather.
So there's a potential to convert here without scoring. And Moody did not even do that, even though he got close.
For the sake of clock, that would be perfect.
Yeah. 80 seconds to go at this point. Carnegie gives to Moody, and he will fight for it and score. Grayson Moody into the end zone. A third rushing touchdown for the Cards. A first for Moody, and the Cardinals lead. They trailed 14-0. They lead 20-14.
Extra point, Moody.
A fantastic drive by the Cards. They took more than 6 minutes off the clock, went from the 20-yard line all the way down to scoring a touchdown. A high snap, Carnegie able to get to it. Kick is good, 21-14, the Cardinals lead. We'll go to a break.
Your home for live, local sports. Varsity Sports Live delivers professional level coverage with high quality video and broadcasters that know your schools and community.
Touchdown, Tonganoxie!
With the support of local businesses, you never pay to watch varsity sports. Live, local, free high school sports coverage. That's Varsity Sports Live.
Rass gets it away. Moore's down the middle. And he makes the catch in the end zone. Touchdown, Trojans.
Keep up with the action at varsitysportslive.com. Live, local, free high school sports.
Are you looking for...
All right, this is going to be a big sequence of events here in terms of momentum of this game, as there's a minute and 16 left, which is just enough time to be concerned about what the Cyclones can do. They've also got 2 timeouts to go along with it. This play right here, kickoff return defense, will be a big factor in the way this first half ends. Velez bobbled that one. He's going to be brought down at the 30. Cardinals will absolutely take that.
So 2 potential huge positives there. The first one is that they got secure tackling and brought him down. He almost fumbled that ball. That was really close. I mentioned it to you briefly in the break. You said, what's the key here? And you said, well, pass defense.
That's what I'm thinking here is the Cyclones are going to go deep. They've had a lot of positive signs. They've hit on a couple, only barely missed on a couple more. They are likely going to test the Cardinals deep, and they will need to stand up strong, because if the Cyclones can formulate a response and if we go to halftime within it, if it's 21-21 or 20-21, it'll feel like a lot of goodwill for the Cardinals will be lost. Cole was looking deep, under pressure, escapes, still under pressure, flag comes down now, throws and does have a man, it's Knapp. And Knapp has the first down and more, a pickup of 15, but we'll see what the flag is. It came in the backfield. When you see players switch left and right, it often can lead to a block in the back.
Yep. Or a hold, either way.
And the way that Knapp is getting open, if you're wondering, he was wide open on his touchdown. He is starting these plays as a blocker and then leaving and finding room as a receiver downfield. That was what he did on that one. That was what he did on a play earlier in this quarter, and that was what he did on his touchdown in the first quarter as well. Cardinals, though, are walking the wrong way. A face mask
on the Cardinals.
Against the Cardinals. So that, I think, will likely be added to the end of the play, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah. Oh, my goodness. That one's going to be critical. And there's still 60 seconds on the clock.
So the Cyclones now right at midfield with a full minute left, and they've still got 2 timeouts.
Man, and I think you're right when it comes to map. It's that you see that in the professional levels a lot, where somebody will start as a blocker and roll out, but there's also a lot more pre and post snap distinction going on here. If somebody looks like they're blocking, they may not get covered.
4 wide, but it's going to be a give to Velez, who's wrapped up immediately. Riley Nice.
And not only does that stop, it also keeps the clock moving.
Yeah, the Cyclones not calling a timeout, which surprises me. They're going to go middle. They're moving quick.
Evidently trying to save those 2 back-to-back late when they need it.
Miscommunication there with Velez will cost him a few seconds. 4 wide. Pull. Fake pump throw to the right side. Under pressure. And he's going to be sacked. Garrett Golay in on the tackle. Riley Nice as well.
Man, that's a drive killer, unless they were able to respond well, which the clock's still ticking, so evidently Ottawa might take this down to half.
If that is what they choose to do, that is a huge victory for the Cardinals. And that is what the Cyclones will elect to do here, unless they maybe go for a last-second Hail Mary. We'll see.
They might.
No, there's a false start, in fact, on the Cyclones, which was declined. Does that affect the clock?
The timeout may have been called just prior. Clock stopped at 4 seconds. It does look like, as you said, they're just going to try for the one long ball. Man, that sack was so massive. Takes all the possibilities, all the many things you could be worried about down to essentially just one. And in which case you say back way up if you're the Cardinals. Give no room for one of those Cyclones to sneak behind you. It looks like they will likely do just that. I think that's the only thing you really can't give up here. As long as you don't give up points.
Here still. Don't know if anything's going to change or if it's just discussing the timing of the timeout.
They're agreeing. Now they're speaking to coach.
Explain something across to the home sideline.
Oh, look at the time put back on.
Okay, 17 seconds on the clock, and it didn't cost the Cyclones a timeout. Hull dropping back, looking deep, throws short though, has a receiver. This is Jace Morning. Jace Morning has the first, and he is then clotheslined at the 40. 2 seconds on the clock. The Cyclones have enough time to get a timeout in, and they will get one play from the 40-yard line.
And we know, just based off watching him roll around, you and I mentioned on that first touchdown, they might, or the fourth down conversion, they may have had 40 yards through the air alone. Looks like maybe not a timeout, but since conferring here.
Yeah, literally 1 second on the clock.
And we know Hull can throw this far. We know that's capability he has.
And he's accurate too.
He is.
So the Cyclones do call one of their 2 remaining timeouts. It's not going to matter in the end. This is the last second, unless there is a defensive penalty, which the half cannot end on a defensive penalty. So that's something else the Cardinals will want to be mindful of as they throw 3 more seconds up on the clock.
I don't think it matters too much. I think this is probably going to be called as the last play regardless.
Penalties and man coverage, pass coverage, however they want to do it. The pass rush as well.
Do not allow points. Do not allow a touchdown. Do not commit a penalty. It's basically the only to-do list here. However they choose to go about it. And you could almost think about sending pressure, but I think it's far too risky. I think you just put a handful up there on the line, which it looks like they're going to have Golay, Osborne, and Nice there.
5 wide. First time we've seen this formation, and that formation is going to scare Coach Steffen into a timeout as he says, whoa, you haven't done that one before. We've seen plenty of 4 wide with running backs in the backfield, but we had not seen a true 5 wide, no one else in the backfield except for the quarterback. So Coach Steffen says, give me a second to talk about that.
Yeah, those complete empty sets can be a little bit frightening. You don't always see massive success from them on the plays themselves, but the one thing they do create is a massive dilemma for the coaching staff on the opposing side, because you've got to figure out which players you're willing to isolate, which ones you think can hold up.
Well, and maybe he's seeing it and he's scared of the receivers. Maybe he's seeing it and licking his lips for the sake of the pass rush.
Correct.
Thinking that they could get in there, and he's like, I need to get more bodies in there to capitalize if you're going to have no protection back there in the backfield.
Yep. And it just depends on what level of risk you're going for. If I'm looking at it as Coach Steffen, a momentum, if you think your defense can come out and play how they've played in the second quarter, maybe you do send the house and try to end with a massive statement in the first half.
So the Cardinals,
a few more bodies there.
Sitting back deep. They've got Preston White and Bowser playing deep, deep safety, and it will still be the 5 wide formation from the Cyclones. In motion is Knapp. Hull all by himself. A couple rushers. He steps up in the pocket, throws deep, has a receiver. Did he catch it?
Oh my
Touchdown!
goodness.
A Hail Mary to end the first half does result in a touchdown for Ottawa. It is McCullough bringing it in the end zone, and the one thing I said, it was pass defense. We knew the Cyclones were not going to go down easy. The Cardinals tried their hardest to eat so much time off the clock, but the minute and 16 seconds that they gave them was 4 seconds too much. And now they'll have a chance to tie the game before we go to halftime. And that chance will be taken So 21-21, as improbable as it seems, is our halftime score. We will go to a break, and when we're back, it's the halftime show. Don't go anywhere. I don't know why you would.
Are you looking for a trusted partner in pet care? Look no further than Eudora Animal Hospital, proudly serving Eudora and the surrounding area since 1975. Eudora Animal Hospital offers a wide range of services, including wellness exams, surgeries, routine vaccinations, and emergency care.
I just want to thank everybody in the community for trusting us with the care of their animals, and go Dogs!
Schedule an appointment by calling 785-542-3265 or visit eudoravet.com.
At Fort Scott Community College, we understand that a scary part of figuring out your future isn't only answering the question, what should I do, but where do I belong? Maybe you belong here, studying animal science or learning about farm and ranch management. Maybe you belong here as part of Hounds Hoops on the hardwood. I don't know where you've been or where you're headed, but I know we're saving a spot for you because you belong at Fort Scott Community College.
One more time before you wake up in the wild.
Our natural world needs us now. Step by step, side by side, together, we can find a way to ensure that all life on Earth can thrive. To learn more about how you can help protect and conserve nature, visit nature.org.
Your home for live, local sports. Varsity Sports Live delivers professional level coverage with high-quality video and broadcasters that know your schools and community.
Touchdown, Tonganoxie!
With the support of local businesses, you never pay to watch varsity sports. Live, local, free high school sports coverage. That's Varsity Sports Live.
Grass gets it away. Moore's down the middle. And he makes the catch in the end zone. Touchdown, Trojans!
Keep up with the action at varsitysportslive.com. Live, local, free high school sports.
Charlie was born at LMH. We had a great team of nurses. Not only did they check in on us regularly, they always asked if we had questions, always made sure that we understood what was going on. I cannot say enough wonderful things about the labor and delivery, family birthing, and mother baby care team at LMH Health. We had to put our entire trust into their hands, and just everyone was so friendly and so supportive.
All right, halftime show, which is brought to us by Attic Storage of Eudora. Attic offers climate-controlled units, RV and vehicle storage, plus clean, move-in ready spaces. As a veteran-owned, community-focused business, Attic features monitored 24/7 access with friendly on-site managers. Rent, reserve, and pay online anytime at attic-storage.com. Well, Hayden, it is a tie game here at halftime, which at some points seemed very unlikely because the Cardinals were trailing by such a big amount.
Right.
At other points seemed unlikely because the Cardinals were leading and there was almost no time left. And yet here we are, 21 apiece, as unlikely as it is. I don't even know. I wanted to just throw it to you and say talk about the first half, but I feel like we have to break it up into the three, the multiple chapters that was, because that was a story before our eyes, and something you said in the break, that we might be calling a classic here, and that's a very good call. I mean, we knew coming in is going to be a great game. It's the two top teams in the Frontier League. It was a great 3-point game last year.
But, man, I didn't think we'd be seeing it through the first half already.
Yeah, a Hail Mary to tie it at halftime is pretty darn ridiculous, and that's exactly what we've had. And we've seen the ebbs and flows of the Cardinals trailing by 14 and then taking the lead 21-14. And yeah, it's all tied up, and I guess maybe that's fair enough that it's all tied up. I mean, it doesn't feel necessarily right, but the Cyclones came out firing really well, and the Cardinals stormed back really well. I guess I've blabbed enough. I'll throw it to you. What are your thoughts on the first half?
Well, I'll blab a bit more. I think if I were to look at the first portion to start out, I think it's very fitting that we have a tie game here because, as you said, we've had 2 quarters of ball, and splitting it up roughly 12 to 15 minutes each, I think we've had about a quarter worth of football that belonged to the Cyclones and about a quarter worth of football that was controlled by the Cards. Maybe a little bit more on the Cardinal side if you had to lean one way or the other, but it's just been such a balanced match, and so many little signs and things you don't usually pick up on consistently early in the first half of the game. We've seen kickoffs from the Cyclones that look like something the Cards could very well take advantage of. We've seen deep passing capability from the Cyclones that the Cards have been very vulnerable to. We've seen the Cardinals able to run the ball with almost impunity in the second half of that second quarter, where the Cyclones had essentially no answer for it, whether it was Duncan or Moody. It didn't seem to matter a whole lot. It just feels perfectly fitting that we're looking at, essentially a tied-up game here. I just don't know which way it's going to start in the second half. I'm so intrigued which way the momentum is going to fall. But I think going back to the first half as an overarching theme, it just came down a lot heavily to momentum in moments and execution in moments. If the Cyclones were able to get 1 or 2 plays in a row where they were executing well, they were dangerous and had a chance to score. If the Cards were able to get a good run on first down and then maybe 1 completed pass for some good yards on a drive, they had a very solid chance of bringing it back and scoring. Defense doesn't feel like it hasn't been present, but it feels like this is very much so a game that's going to be dictated by who is able to be very capable on offense, who's able to make plays at good times, or because of that very fact, this could be the kind of game that comes down to who's able to get a sack at a good time. That 1 interception that may be showing up, when is that going to happen and who's going to get it? I'm just extremely intrigued by the second half. It feels like we have an absolute treat ahead of us to be calling tonight, man.
Oh, and some moments that I can't help but think back on. The first one is the 4th and 3, where the Cardinals had a personnel thing, called a timeout, and then the Cyclones ended up choosing not to punt. One, we now know full well why they decided not to punt, because we saw them punt later, and I don't even know if it was a net positive. It went from the edge of their end zone to the 13-yard line. It did not go very far, and so you understand why they said 4th and 3. I'd way rather go for that. Honestly, I'm surprised they were ever willing to punt in that situation. They were around the 4th and 3. That timeout from the Cardinals let the Cyclones decide to go for it, turned into a 40-yard pickup, and that was the opening touchdown of our game. And then you look back at the turnover on downs. The Cyclones were at the 20-yard line. I believe it was 4th and 5. They went for the end zone. It hit the hands of a receiver. Mulvihill was the defender in coverage, and it fell incomplete right at the edge of the end zone, and the Cardinals from the 20 drove all the way down and scored that Moody touchdown that we thought was going to be the final say of the first half. It ended up not being the final say, but thinking about had the Cyclones punted, had the Cardinals allowed the Cyclones to punt despite not having a punt returner back, and also had the Cyclones completed that pass, and there are other dropped passes or not even drops, but maybe near misses from the quarterback hole that could see this game be very different, which reflects you're saying about the moments. Those are moments. A drop like that is a moment, and there are going to be those big plays continuing here, and special teams will continue to play a big part. The Cardinals have had nice kickoffs, but then the Cyclones have had good returns. Not as good as they would have if they had Nate Sims, but still some very good returns. And then the Cyclones have had poor kickoffs and 1 poor punt at least, and they've missed a PAT as well. So the special teams in different aspects of the game lean one way or another, and that it will play a big part. Some fans like to forget about the third aspect of the game, but it is a big deal, and it will continue to play a big part here. But I've loved the way this first half has played out. I love on that Cardinals last touchdown drive, the 15-yard pass to Preston White. Such a great way to catch him off guard, and the fact that Carnegie and White executed really well. 3 rushing touchdowns for the Cards, 1 rushing touchdown for Velez on the Cyclone side, 2 passing touchdowns, including the ridiculous Hail Mary with 3 seconds up on the clock we will go to a break here from our Attic Storage of Eudora halftime show with 12.5 to go before the second half gets going.
At Kansas Insurance, we know one size doesn't fit all. In fact, our whole mindset is based on customized policies for you and your families. We're local, and we do what we do because we care about you. Think of us as brokers for your insurance needs. Working with Kansas Insurance gets you the award-winning service and attention to detail that only an independent agency can provide. All across Kansas, we're here to help you manage and plan for all types of risk. Contact a local agent today. Kansas Insurance. Local, independent, service.
Everybody can make something because I think everyone has a spark of creativity, and the reason that I have to keep making is because I don't think my life would be as fulfilling without it. If you make things yourself, that means you're not cowering in fear. You're out there taking chances. That, I think, is my way of saying I love you to the world. All right, now I want to hear why you make.
Share your own Why I Make story today. Visit whyimake.org.
I used to drive an ambulance as an EMT, and I've always tried to be a safe driver. If people knew what I know, lives could be saved. In my car, if I see a truck or bus taking a turn, I know to take my time. When big vehicles turn right, they may swing wide to make the turn. If you try to sneak in, well, it's a lesson you'd rather not learn the hard way. When trucks and buses turn, let's you and I wait. It's our roads, it's our safety.
Hey, I'm Mike Grope, here today to encourage you to connect with 811 before you dig.
And I'm Micro, and I'm here because I love to dig in the dirt.
It's true. He's also here because he's very small and not that bright.
Here, for instance, we can see Micro doing what he loves to do.
And here we can see the consequences of not doing what he should have done. Dude, why didn't you call 811?
I forgot the number.
See? Not that bright.
Number one, obviously, is safety. We definitely call 811 to find out if there are any buried lines, fiber optic, whether it be telephone or pipeline or anything. Don't take a chance. Don't think you know and say, well, I don't remember anything being put in there. Call 811 and make sure that that's identified, that there isn't something there before you make that crossing. Because in the end, we want everybody going home.
For the best care for your pet, choose DeSoto Veterinary Clinic. Dr. Matt Fair and his team are dedicated to providing high-quality medical care with compassion and a personal touch. They treat every pet as their own, ensuring they receive the attention and respect they deserve. For routine checkups, testing, vaccinations, chiropractic and acupuncture care, or surgical services, you can trust Dr. Fair and his team at DeSoto Veterinary Clinic. Call 913-585-1115 to schedule an appointment today or visit DeSotoVetClinic.com.
All right, back here on our halftime show, as it is 21-21 here. And yeah, this is going to be a great second half. Very excited for how it's going to finish. We were talking about, do you think it's going to finish close, or could we see a team pull away? And I mean, you have to mention the fact that the Cyclones were leading by two scores pretty early in this game. Means it is possible for one team to pull away or the other. I could very well see the Cardinals pull away, especially if they could break away a big play. Something that I honestly don't foresee, but if it happened, would just throw a wrench in everything as a defensive score. If either team gets a pick six or a scoop and score or even a kick return, which isn't the same thing, but that would be that would change things, because right now both offenses are having to work really hard and the defenses are able to get involved in that. And I just think if there was something like that, something that just automatically 5 seconds came off the clock and a touchdown is up on the board that changes everything, that would be a really big factor. And just a couple pluses and minuses I have on the Cardinals game. The plus, pass rush. Absolutely really, really good. Getting to the quarterback. Now, Hayden Hull is fast. And so he moves around. And so they're not able right now to get as many sacks or tackles for loss or even just hits on the QB.
They have brought him down tonight, though, already.
Yeah. but they're getting to him. They're making him uncomfortable. If they can keep that up and get the occasional sack, huge. And they are applying pressure. I do see a plus on special teams in general. I think that benefits the Cards. The rushing game has been strong. The minuses, the pass coverage, which that's a minus on the season. And the last 2 years even, really, pass coverage has been a really big struggle. It's why the Cardinals are not leading this game. The Hail Mary specifically, the first opening touchdown was one thing. It almost functions like a trick play.
Well, look at the fourth down.
Yeah.
That fourth down conversion.
Right. And there have been a lot of near misses for Hull as well. And so the pass coverage, I mean, it's not going to change in a 15-minute halftime speech, but it's just got to be better. The deep plays, of course, it's hard throws for quarterbacks to make, but surely the corners can get something in there. You know, either get some contact at the line or something. They've just got to do a little bit better, or really actually a lot better on the pass coverage. It is the biggest letdown on the Cardinals defense, which is otherwise a really strong unit.
Yes.
And then the other minus is the penalties. They have not been too pervasive, I would say.
But they've been there still.
They've been there, and they've been there at crucial moments. The face mask especially comes to mind. That was on that Hail Mary drive. There have been some costly penalties at unfortunate times for the Cardinals, and they've only been able to force a couple in their favor from Ottawa. That is something that the Cardinals have got to get better, and that one can get better in a halftime speech or just get better in general as the season goes on. Of course, the Cardinals have a young team, but they got guys that can do better and get more disciplined. And I am very much so looking forward to the second half. I don't know what adjustments there are to make, even if any. I think we just want to see more football, and that it's going to be a lot of fun.
Absolutely. That encompasses what I was going to say pretty well. The majority of the thoughts are just, man, I want 2 more quarters of this. I'm really, really excited to see which way those chips fall as we start the second half, and who looks strong, who's able to keep up what they had rolling in the first 2 quarters, and not a lot more than that. It's going to be a really fun 2 quarters of football coming up.
Appreciate all you guys tuning in here. We've got more than 200 of you watching on the stream. We've got one more break here at halftime, 5.5 minutes to go before the second half kicks off. So keep it here on Eudora Sports Live.
Are you looking for a trusted partner in pet care? Look no further than Eudora Animal Hospital, proudly serving Eudora and the surrounding area since 1975. Eudora Animal Hospital offers a wide range of services, including wellness exams, surgeries, routine vaccinations, and emergency care.
I just want to thank everybody in the community for trusting us with the care of their animals, and go Cards!
Schedule an appointment by calling 785-542-3265 or visit eudoravet.com.
At Fort Scott Community College, we understand that a scary part of figuring out your future isn't only answering the question, what should I do, but where do I belong? Maybe you belong here, preparing for a career in healthcare as part of Fort Scott Community College's nursing program. Or maybe you belong on stage as part of the Hounds band or theater department. I don't know where you've been or where you're headed, but I know we're saving a spot for you because you belong at Fort Scott Community College.
What would happen if I had to pick up the phone, call 911 for one of my family members or one of my neighbors? What would I do if no one was on the other end to respond? What if there was no 911? So you can be a part of the solution.
Anybody can be a firefighter. Male, female, younger, older.
We have school teachers. We have leaders in business.
Is me, you, anyone that wants to be. There is no typical firefighter.
All across the country, people are coming together to speed up what we can learn about health. The All of Us research program is calling on 1 million people to join us as we try to change the future of health. For your family, for future generations, for all of us. Visit joinallofus.org and find out how you can become 1 in a million.
Charlie was born at LMH. We had a great team of nurses. Not only did they check in on us regularly, they always asked if we had questions, always made sure that we understood what was going on. I cannot say enough wonderful things about the labor and delivery, family birthing, and mother baby care team at LMH Health. We had to put our entire trust into their hands, and just everyone was so friendly and so supportive.
All right, welcome back in here to our Attic Storage of Eudora halftime show on Eudora Sports Live, which is presented by Kansas Insurance. At Kansas Insurance, they believe in taking time to issue personal care and attention to each individual client. To see how Kansas Insurance can help you protect what matters most, call 913-369-6600. Proudly bringing Eudora Sports Live to Cardinals fans everywhere. My name is Reed McAvoy. I've got Hayden Harves alongside me. We've got 90 seconds left, or at least that's what the clock says. Sometimes they'll throw 3 more minutes up there on us before we get into the second half of a game that has been absolutely amazing. Just a recap of the scoring here. There was a wide open, that's how I've got it in my notes, in all caps, wide open. Touchdown to Knapp with a no good PAT to get the scoring started for the Cyclones. Then the Cardinals with the 3-and-out have to punt. A rushing touchdown for Velez plus a 2-point conversion makes it 14-0 for the Cyclones. And then a huge Moody run, which is on 3rd and 5, put the Cardinals in plus territory on a drive that was finished off by Keelan Duncan with the Dunback PAT. That's 14-7, end of the first quarter. And then right into the second quarter, there was I have it written down as a horrible punt. Maybe I could find a new word there. A short punt.
A lackluster punt.
A punt that let the Cardinals begin in the red zone at the 13-yard line just because they fell on the ball at the end of the punt. And Carnegie ended up getting an RPO rushing touchdown. That's the starting quarterback today in the absence of Cy Thomas. And then a PAT on that one makes it 14-14. And then a great drive for the Cards following a turnover on downs from the Cyclones. The Cards go from their own 20 all the way downfield and score a touchdown with 1 minute and 16 seconds left, which surely would give them the lead at halftime. Only a minute left. And no, that's not how it went.
No, sir.
Our score is not 21-14, but 21-21 because the Cyclones, with a little bit of help from a face mask, but mainly just a great offensive drive and a couple of timeouts, are able to score a 40-yard Hail Mary touchdown with 3 seconds left on the go. Well, the play started with 3 seconds left. The Hail Mary was the last play. 0 seconds left on the clock as they complete the passing touchdown and then do convert the PAT, which is something of note and also something that could come up later in this game if it remains this close. PATs are a difficult point for the Cyclones, and maybe that forces them to go for 2 in a spot where they are a little bit weary of missing. Anyway, that could come up, but just for the sake of the scoring recap, they make the PAT 21-21. That is how we went to halftime, which is now over. It is time for quarter number 3 here, which the Cardinals will receive the opening kick after they won the opening toss and deferred. They will get to start with the ball. These kickoffs have not been going downfield very far. Presumably they might be trying to force a mistake on a difficult catching of the ball out of the air, which is a much harder skill than it seems like it should be. It'll be Gavin Seaton to kick this one off for the Cyclones. Cardinals have Hugler and White deep, but if the kickoff goes the way that the other ones have, that won't really factor in. It's really mainly been Jay Noble touching the ball here on these kickoffs. 12 minutes up on the clock, the third quarter underway, and it is another sky kick here, and it will be fair caught by Noble, as we've seen a few times in this game. So the Cardinals start at the 40-yard line. We're underway here in quarter number 3.
And you almost wonder, I don't know if they would have seen anything on tape that made them want to target Noble, but they've done that all 3 times, almost to the point where it seems pinpointed. It seems like they're trying to put the ball right there. It could be something statistical they've looked up, that passes over there are harder to catch, harder to bring down in the lights.
But we've also just seen they can't kick the ball all that far. So they might just be trying to do their best with what they've got.
Well, what I keep thinking is if depth is a point of concern, then accuracy presumably would be as well. But the accuracy's been right there nonetheless. Cards respond well.
Cards will start at the 38-yard line. Carnegie the quarterback. No receivers here. It's a tight formation. Handoff to Moody up the middle. And he was stopped at the 40-yard line by a couple Cyclones.
Tells me they were trying to, quote, run the rock. It was Nick Walker, once again, meeting him right there in the line between. But it tells me something about what the Cards are wanting their identity to be here early on. If they're wanting to run the ball a lot, we saw at the end of the second quarter, they were able to move the ball on the ground with impunity, and they were able to control the clock while they were at it. Got to the point where they were getting well over 5 or 6 yards per touch.
We haven't really seen a formation without a receiver much, which we will see here for a second consecutive play from the Cards. Another give up the middle to Moody, and a flag came in the second the ball was snapped.
Makes you wonder if that's something procedural, pre-snap maybe.
Going to go against the Cards because of how quickly it came in, unless there was a defender lined up offside.
It's possible. We've certainly seen it. Saw it last week. A player lined up in the neutral zone for the Broncos.
Let's see here. False start on the offense. So the play is negated, and we're back to second down, which was 2nd and 7, will now become 2nd and 12.
And puts them in a little bit of a tough spot. Of course, the runs to start this drive haven't been quite as long as they were at the end of the first half, and 12 yards, quite a bit. You wonder if they'll trust Carnegie through the air once again. We've seen he is capable of it. Airmailed to pass by just a little bit to Preston White earlier, but he certainly got the touch and velocity for it.
He's 1 of 2 with 15 passing yards on the game, but he's going to hand this one to Duncan on the outside. 1v1. Duncan spins past one and then gets aggressively wrapped up by another and brought down there. That was Nick Walker that made the tackle. Duncan picking up a few to make the third down a little more manageable, but it'll still be more than 5 yards at least.
Really impressive work here so far by the Cards. I personally, with the camera, was actually tripped up thinking it was Grayson Moody who had that ball. Both running backs, one of course starting to the right side of Carnegie, one starting to the left. And another 15 yards will be tacked on for the Cards here additionally. So that'll not only be a Cards first down, but will push them well into Cyclones territory. Going to spot the ball right at the 30-yard line, it looks like. Which is going to give them that many more options. Of course, we know a long drive opening off a quarter would always be a good thing, but if they have a 3 or 4 minute drive and score points, you're never going to complain about it. White lined up out far to the left again.
1st and 10 here. It's going to be Mulvihill. Mulvihill with the head of steam. Mulvihill gets knocked over by Boaz right around the 10.
That might be the first carry we've seen from Bryce Mulvihill today, and he sure paid it off. And yet another Cards first down, 2 plays in a row there.
So it is 1st and 10 from the 12 now. After the big carry by Mulvihill. Cardinals still on their opening drive. A give to Moody. Moody still on his feet. Still pushing forward and goes down around the 6 or 7.
Moody the ball carrier. Walker and Myers on the stop for Ottawa.
And White going to come over and maybe check out here. Could be looking at that heavy run set once again for the Cards as they draw closer into the red zone here.
It was around this territory where White got his one reception, but it was on a big play that was 16 yards to gain. I forget the down, but he ended up getting 15 yards out of 16 back on that play.
1st and 16, so it would have been on first down if I recall correctly.
Here's 2nd and 5, under center Carnegie. The handoff for Moody, and he's in! The Cardinals lead again! Moody with his 2nd touchdown of the game, a 4th rushing touchdown for Eudora.
300 yards on the ground rushing last year. That was the story of that night. Maybe rushing touchdowns, one of the main stories of tonight. The yards may not look quite as impactful, still a lot of them. But it's been rushing touchdowns on the ground for the quarterback and both running backs tonight. As Moody did not have one through the first 2 touchdowns. Now he's got 2 on the night.
And the kick is up and good. It's 28-21. Cardinals are back on top with the touchdown on the opening drive of the 3rd quarter.
Are you looking for a trusted partner in pet care? Look no further than Eudora Animal Hospital, proudly serving Eudora and the surrounding area since 1975. Eudora Animal Hospital offers a wide range of services, including wellness exams, surgeries, routine vaccinations, and emergency care.
I just want to thank everybody in the community for trusting us with the care of their animals, and go Cards!
Schedule an appointment by calling 785-542-3265 or visit eudoravet.com.
At Fort Scott Community College, we understand that a scary part of figuring out your future isn't only answering the question, what should I do, but where do I belong?
Kickoff here a little bit short around the 35 where it's fielded, and he's still going here for the Cyclones. By Bryson Schulte, it looks like. And he made a big return there. The Cyclones are going to start in plus territory.
We mentioned it briefly in the second half. There was a drive that started the same way, and it continued to ring true, I think. It seems so far there is a correlation today from where the Cyclones start their drives and how successful those drives are. Of course, we know in drive success rate at the college and the pros, you do see that impact quite a bit, but especially tonight, when the Cyclones start with good field position, they are much more dangerous.
And they're in plus territory to begin the drive. A give to Velez, who has a rushing touchdown in this game.
And he was met immediately in the line and stuffed right away by an onslaught of Cardinals. The first, it looks, was Jaleel Stratton.
Velez with the carry for the Cyclones. New Schreiner with the stop for the
They say
Cardinals.
Schreiner the first to get to him. So now a longer second down here for the Cyclones. Maybe not putting pressure on him yet, but certainly forcing them into a passing situation. There's Hull, all kinds of pressure behind him. Does get rid of it. He's just got to toss it away out of bounds. That was the 50 of Wyatt. Sorry. That was Marks forcing the late throw by Hull.
So that's going to bring up a 3rd and 8 at the 40-yard line.
And Reed, Coach Stefan mentioned to us how significant that was. That was in his notes today, where he said making open field tackles and getting pressure on the quarterback. We saw a lot of that from these linebackers and edge rushers last week, and once again, Marks shot through. Hull looked like he was going to have time, and not as much as he thought there.
4 wide, Knapp in motion. Hull takes the snap, looking to throw, throws left, and it's incomplete. Maybe a shallow screen pass there. I don't know if he dirted it on purpose or not, but never really close to his receiver, Aiden McCullough, and it's 4th and 8 now at the 40.
And it's looking like go for it territory. Yep, Hull going to get one play call and roll right back into the huddle. So it looks like we are going to see a little more boldness on 4th down.
Do you think that he grounded that one on purpose? Do you think that he saw the close coverage, just didn't want to risk it?
It's very much possible. I mean, Elijah Clovis is right there. You throw to the flat, you could always have a TFL or something negative there.
All right, 4th and 8, they're going for it. Hull to throw. Still eyes downfield, going deep. Has a couple receivers in the area. We don't have a call yet. Well, do we see a call?
Hull's pass. Aiden McCullough.
We're still waiting. PA's still waiting too.
I still don't see a call. They're talking it over.
They say we're almost seeing a signal back the other way, but it looks like they're spotting the ball.
I guess they're setting up.
It is a good catch.
So he did catch it.
Wow.
Not a touchdown, but a huge catch on 4th down to keep the drive alive, and now the Cyclones are at the 2.
And now we're seeing another trend on the night. The Cyclones become an infinitely more dangerous team when they have no time left or no plays left on 4th down.
And also throwing it deep. The deep pass coverage for the Cardinals always been a struggle this year. And now the Cyclones are only 2 yards away from a chance to tie up this game. And they're going to give it to the fullback.
He was met immediately. Better, thank you.
So immediately stuffed there on the 1st and goal.
Stop by Eudora's Braden Marks.
Braden Marks getting in on the stop. He's had some big plays today. One of the leaders on this Eudora team. And now it is 2nd and goal.
Man, if they are able to execute here and hold to even just a field goal.
This time the give to Velez on the right side. He's wrapped up. Looks like it was close. Could the Cardinals actually make this defensive stand?
Man, and we mentioned it earlier as well. I know we've said that a couple of times. This red zone defense last week against the Broncos was so strong. That was a true point that we just kept referencing over and over, how phenomenal the Cardinals looked in those short yardage situations on defense. And if they're able to do it, they're halfway there. Presumably, you'd imagine they'd go for it on 4th down again.
3rd and goal. Velez is the central back, but there's a couple up backs as well in support. And it looks like he bobbled the snap! Do the Cardinals have it? They think they do! Where's the signal?
Oh my goodness. Oh,
it looks like it's still a Cyclones ball.
Oh, they cannot be feeling great about it, though.
All right,
it was recovered.
It is still an Ottawa ball, but it is 4th and goal here.
And they would have lost yards, presumably. Yeah, it's 4th and 3
and now there's an official's timeout. Zoom in a bit.
Maybe going to check things out here.
They're backing it up to the 5-yard line. So it's going to be 4th and goal from the 5.
Running clock, too. Oh, the Cards defense trying to amp everyone up here. On the field, timeout called by Ottawa.
Ottawa take the timeout. We'll go ahead and keep you here.
How could we not?
This action is building here to an amazing climax, and it's still the 3rd quarter. It is still the 3rd quarter, folks. And this feels like this is the play to try and end the game and win it all. This is amazing drama, and I mean, the Cardinals, so 4th and 5 is interesting. 4th and 2 or 3, you kind of feel like you have to run it. 4th and 5, you could pass it, and even on a quick, like, I could very well see the Cyclones getting a quick short route and just finding enough space to score that touchdown. And the thing is that even if that happens, I think you got to give the Cardinals so much credit for this stand.
Yes.
But in the end, it would also mean that it was for naught in a way. You got to maybe could find some positives in the momentum or the belief that gives them, but they don't want that. They want the actual stop. They want to get this over with, and we are completely writing off the thought of how close this is. It could be field goal range, even though the Cyclones have had struggles. They could see the value of putting up 3 points on this drive, but I think they're so
not going
close.
to. Yeah.
They're so close that they're going to have to try and score. But that they could go for the field goal.
They could, and I actually think I would prefer it for the Cardinals. I actually think I would prefer it for the Cards if it was closer, because I like their run defense a lot.
Yeah, I agree. It's going to be 4 wide here with Velez in the backfield alongside Hull.
So everyone on an island.
Pass coverage has been a weakness for this Cardinals defense. Hull wants to throw. He rolls to his right, back to his left, under pressure. He's now 20 yards away from the end zone. He's going to heave it. Has a man. It's caught.
Oh, my goodness.
It is Knapp once again, finding space in the end zone.
Oh, wait, Cardinals celebrating. He may have been out of bounds.
It is an incompletion.
Oh, I thought so. We were downtrodden, and here the Cardinals players come back towards the sideline celebrating it.
I'm going to have to take a look back at this one to understand what just happened. Hull was under all kinds of pressure.
He was standing in the white paint as he caught it.
He did come down out of bounds. We can check it out on the replay here. Let's see.
It's so easy.
The replay might start a little late here for us. We're trying to implement replays for you in these broadcasts going forward. But he did come down out of bounds, incomplete. The Cardinals make the stand, but now their offense is deep in the dread zone. Grayson Moody trying to get them some room to breathe out to the 10.
Moody does a really good job to do just that. You can't even fault Knapp for that. He's been phenomenal today. I mean, you don't deserve a whole lot of room to knock on him, but it's also so tough in that spot. You're so focused on catching the ball, you can completely forget about your spatial awareness and just making sure you're staying in bounds.
How about that stand, Hayden? That is
unbelievable.
Unreal.
I mean, that looked like a guaranteed scoring drive.
It was 1st and goal from the 2. 2nd and 4. This is Keelan Duncan. He's running with some strength. Fighting right around the line to gain, and they'll give him the first.
And he continues to give him that much more breathing room. I think that first down is absolutely massive, because even if it's 3rd down and 1 from that spot, you start thinking about what happens if you don't get it. 1st down, you kind of forget the end zone's behind you and just keep rolling forward. I cannot believe that 4-down stand from the Cardinals, and it was truly, they had to fight through all 4 downs to hold it.
1st and 10 at their own 16. It's going to be a give. And fighting for a lot of yards there. Looks like pickup of 6 or 7, Grayson Moody.
And now, once again, ball security, I think, is the chief concern, if not one of the most ones. We get to see now if the Cards are able to touch that spot they were in near the end of the second quarter, where they were just moving the ball with no struggle whatsoever, and it looked like the Ottawa Cyclones were beginning to gas out and struggle a bit. If they're able to do that over and over here and hold on to the ball, they could put a very controlling pace on this in the third quarter.
They give Moody 9. It's 2nd and 1. Duncan in motion. Carnegie still with it in his hands. Carnegie rolling around. He's going to be brought down in the backfield.
We'll see how much longer that makes the third down attempt.
And you know, I honestly, at this point, they've made enough progress that the focus would shift to this being an offensive drive. But yes. I was just seeing it as the opportunity to punt away the ball was a massive win for the Cardinals because they had the ball at their own 2 and they were trying to stop the Cyclones from scoring. Yeah. So the ability to just back them up is a huge blessing that they earned. And if that is how this drive ends, that is completely fine. But the fact that they've gotten out to the 24, they're no longer worried about their own end zone all that much. This is an offensive drive they want to pick up here. And a big third down. It's going to be a give here. And can't quite tell who's got it, but I don't think they're going to get to the line.
I think it was Moody. It's just a matter of if he got to the line to gain first before he started moving backwards.
Looks like they are spotting him close but short. It was Grayson Moody.
Now time for a decision, Reed. What do? You're outside the dread zone.
4th and 1 at the 25. For me, it's a punt. I know that's boring, and it's 4th and 1, and you totally believe that Moody can get it. And I honestly do believe that if they give this to Moody, he's going to get it. But just, you know, if it could go wrong, it's only the third quarter, guys.
I'm not going to say which way I'd go, but if you get it, you're getting massive momentum and keeping the drive going.
They are going for it. 4th and 1. Carnegie under center. He's going to give it.
He snuck it.
It's close here, but it looks like they do get the first down. The Cardinals maintain possession and pick up a first down on 4th. Grayson Moody gets the conversion.
I love the pick there. It's so easy to kind of overthink those short yardage fourth downs and think you've got to get really tricky and do all this intricate stuff when it comes to play calling. Just run the ball. Just go right up the middle.
The rock.
Run the rock. About a year ago tonight. Just run it up the gut, get the yards, let the big boys up front push their way. And the Cards continuing to run clock here late in the third.
Eating clock has been a real strength of this Cardinals offense. They've done slow, methodical drives where they try to make sure that they get the last say. Keelan Duncan won't pick up much there on that one. If you're tuning in here and you aren't familiar with the stats from last year's game when the Cardinals played the Cyclones, the Cardinals won in Ottawa to give them their first loss of the year, where Grayson Moody had 45 carries for 230 yards and 2 touchdowns. And Keelan Duncan complemented that with 9 carries for 61 yards and a rushing touchdown of his own. Duncan's got in the end zone once tonight. Grayson Moody has gotten in twice as well. After that game last year, Coach Stephen tweeted out, "Run the rock." And that is why we're referencing that and the strong run game that the Cardinals have had here. It's going to be a throw, though, from Carnegie. White gets up to it, and it falls incomplete. Credit to White, honestly, for even getting close to that. He kind of ended up playing defensive back, but he made that look like he was going to bring it in, despite being in triple and quadruple coverage. Only the 3rd passing play we've seen all game from Eudora.
Oh, he truly was playing DB there. That, as soon as that ball went up and the area it was going to land became pinpointed, you could tell Preston White very quickly diverged from, I want to catch this ball, to, I need to make sure I break this up before a Cyclone gets it.
3rd and 10. 38 seconds to go before we get into the 4th quarter of this one. It's had a 4th quarter feel this entire second half. That's going to be another throw from Carnegie off the hands of Duncan, incomplete. 4th and 10.
And now I think it's completely all right to bring out the punt unit. Caden Dunback does have room to work. I was going to briefly mention, Reed, I don't know if you remember, on the first punt Dunback had tonight, it actually bounced off of the ground, which made being backed up that far that much scarier, because if you already had a punt where the execution wasn't perfect, but now they have given him a little bit of wiggle room. We know he's got a big leg, can send this one hopefully past midfield for the Cards.
Interestingly, 2 returners deep for the Cyclones. Lots of time for Dunback, and it's a beautiful punt. The punt's so good it gets applause from the crowd and a fair catch from the receiver. Gavin Seaton just catches that one at the 30, and so due applause given to Dunback last year made a 43, or last week made a 43-yard field goal, and this week with a really crucial and clutch punch. That is something that definitely in the pros goes unappreciated, right? At high school level, you see how important it is to have good kickers, good punters, and the Cardinals do have a good punter, the Cyclones do not, and that is a big difference right there. That means that the Cyclones have a lot of work to do here instead of being in plus territory, perhaps. 28 seconds to go in the third quarter. 1st and 10 for the Cyclones, 4 wide. It's going to be a quick pass to Morning, who is wrapped up just as quick as he was found open by Mulvihill.
Yeah, that goes so unmentioned, man. If you're even in the pros and especially at the college level too, they get no applause. Special teams gets no notice. You only mention it if it's bad a lot of the time. But it's very much so worth noting, especially at the high school level. It's not easy to find a good kicker. It's not easy to find a good punter.
It'll be a pickup of 5, which means it will be 2nd and 5 at the other side of the field when we are back in the fourth quarter. 28-21 our score. The home team leads.
Charlie was born at LMH. We had a great team of nurses. Not only did they check in on us regularly, they always asked if we had questions, always made sure that we understood what was going on. I cannot say enough wonderful things about the labor and delivery, family birthing, and mother baby care team at LMH Health. We had to put our entire trust into their hands, and just everyone was so friendly and so supportive.
Are you looking for a trusted partner in pet care? Look no further than Eudora Animal Hospital, proudly serving Eudora and the surrounding area since 1975. Eudora Animal Hospital offers a wide range of services, including wellness exams, surgeries, routine vaccinations, and emergency care.
I just want to thank everybody in the community for trusting us with the care of their animals, and go Dogs!
Schedule an appointment by calling 785-542-3265 or visit eudoravet.com.
Well, if you want drama, have we got it for you. As the fourth quarter gets going with the 2nd and 5 carry for the Cyclones. As we enter into the fourth quarter, Velez stopped for no gain. Braden Marks gets in on the tackle. Got a lot of people in here watching. Thank you so much for tuning in here for some Friday Night Lights on Eudora Sports Live. My name is Reed McAvoy. I've got Hayden Harves with me here as we have a big third down here in a game where the Cardinals once trailed 14-0, and they lead 28-21. Hull wants to throw, has a man behind the defense, and the flag will come in. The near official did not throw the flag, and the receiver was distraught, but he didn't see that the back judge did give him the flag he was looking for. I think they're going to hit Mulvihill with pass interference. We haven't seen anything yet, and it's possible that the one official will wave off the other's flag.
Well, and the tough thing where that they're looking at when it comes to making this call is, was the ball catchable or not? Because that one was so far over their heads, you're trying to determine if whatever contact Mulvihill might have put was enough to delay him or not, and they will call it.
They will give the pass interference against Mulvihill. So from 3rd and 5, it becomes a first down. Penalties was one of my keys that I marked out at halftime.
And they hadn't showed up a ton, you mentioned, but when they were showing up, it was in crucial moments. Late in games, late in drives, 3rd downs, 4th downs, and yet again, shows up in a big moment.
Gives the Cyclones a chance to breathe here as it's 1st and 10 at their own 45. They're going to go 4 wide. They are content to continue passing the ball. Although, as I say that, it'll be a give to Velez, who's brought down in the backfield.
Oh, it almost looked like that ball was going to get popped out of his hands by Riley Nice.
Riley Nice getting in the backfield and bringing him down, tackle for loss, and a huge one.
And you got to think Coach Stephan is smiling when it comes to the open field tackling. That's another skill you and I would briefly discuss last season about it's kind of thankless. You don't mention it a whole lot when they do it well, but it is so difficult to consistently bring the guy down when you make contact with him. And the Cards have been phenomenal at it this year, to their credit.
That clock continues to run here in the fourth quarter. Hull with a pump fake and now a throw towards Knapp, incomplete. The running back, Knapp, has found a lot of space out of the backfield as a receiver, but incomplete there. And honestly, he was past his defender. He got past Elijah Klobes, but the throw not on point, and it is 3rd and 13.
How significant is no penalty now? 3rd and 5 compared to 3rd and 13. I mean, essentially the only thing you do not want to happen, aside from giving up a catch, is just making a mistake procedurally.
4 wide once again. Hull, play action, under pressure, escapes the pocket, still downfield, marks, and Schreiner pressure him, it's incomplete. Des Hubler in coverage. Hubler was fantastic last year as a freshman. Here only as a sophomore. He was isolated there, 1v1 with his receiver, stayed in perfect coverage, and made the play to force a 4th down.
Also phenomenal for Hull to stay in structure there and actually be able to get that throw off. It looked like he was going to be hit and it was going to come up well short.
So the Cyclones look set to punt here. I wouldn't necessarily just blindly believe that, but it is 4th and 13. And they will indeed get the punt away. And this one much better than the first one. It will roll to Des Hubler, who will play it safe, the right idea. Stay away from it, don't want to give any silly muff away. So the Cards will start right at the 20. Credit where it's due, a much better punt from the Cyclones.
Yes, yeah, that was really, really nice. And especially in this 4th quarter when each drive becomes so valuable because time is so finite now. Pinning a team deep, making their drive that much more difficult is so valuable right now. So yeah, a lot of credit to the Cyclones, seemingly cleaning up a little bit of the lackluster depth they were having on some of those early kicks and getting really good there to just narrowly pin the Cards in their own red zone.
We're giving the Cardinals a lot of credit. Offensively, they're very good at eating time off the clock. How much can they do here? And if they can add on a score to the end of it, that would be absolutely massive. But you wanted to look at them trying to take 4, 5, 6 minutes off the clock, get towards the end of this game, and also make progress offensively. Moody with the toss, wrapped up in the backfield, looks like.
He'll get right back to the line to gain, it appears, there, if it is just narrowly.
Tackle was made by Liam Marler.
And Liam Marler with
Man, and again, we're sitting in a similar spot where if you need to punt from here, you've got room, but you really want to see at least one good first down from the Cards in order to kind of kick this drive off properly, just to get themselves a little bit closer to midfield.
They do say he got back to the line of scrimmage, so it's 2nd and 10. Another give to Moody. He won't get very far this time. Quickly, 3rd down.
Yeah, Cyclone's starting to wise up to the run quite a bit. Puts a little more pressure on the shoulders of Houston Carnegie because it is starting to appear like they are going to need him to step up to the plate and deliver a big throw at least once here. Of course, no guarantee that this is a pass, but 3rd and 7, it's long enough. You got to be thinking about the possibility. Looks like White is out there to the left side of the formation.
It will be a shotgun formation. Snap taken cleanly by Carnegie, handed to Duncan. Duncan's got the first. Duncan's still up. Did he fumble? Did he lose the ball? It's a Cardinals ball.
Was it Mulvihill who jumped on it, or did Mulvihill have the ball initially?
We'll take a look back at it here, but it's a big play for the Cards regardless.
One on the play recovered by Eudora's Bryce Mulvihill. After all said and done.
No, it was a gift to Moody. It was Duncan, but the huge pickup, and he did put it on the ground. Another offensive fumble recovery for the Cards. And now an official timeout.
Whew.
See what that is for, but big. I mean, what a play by Mulvihill to save the game. I mean, at least save the lead, because that would be a short field given to the Cyclones. It's the 2nd time the Cards have recovered an offensive fumble.
Well,
5 times in the last 2 games.
I'd say 3 times last week, and me and Dylan Vanderveen just kept bringing up, man, it's at some point that's going to bite you, right? If you keep losing the ball on your offensive drives, at some point you're not going to get it back. But Bryce Mulvihill, a lot of heads-up performances from him so far tonight.
But let's also not overlook the run by Keelan Duncan on 3rd and 7. He got the first and a whole lot more. Put the Cards near midfield with 8:40 to go and the clock still running.
Yeah, I think if I'm looking at score, assuming they're able to score on this drive, I think if the clock is below 6 minutes when you score, you're in a really good spot, and they could well do that. They're sitting right at the 50.
Shotgun formation once again. A give to Duncan again. And he's going to get 7. Duncan is a powerful runner. Moody and Duncan are both very strong whenever they get hit. They get a lot of yards after contact. I would say that Duncan is probably more shifty, but they are both powerful backs.
Yeah, you are not going to stop either one in their tracks the majority of the time. And I think I'm hesitant to say we're reaching a really strong point for the run game for the Cards because it's only been 2 straight runs back-to-back, albeit 2 very strong runs. But if they're able to reach that point again where they're able to consistently churn for 4, 5, 6 yards a carry, they can put themselves in a beautiful position here.
2nd and 3, give. And it's going to be another big gain for Eudora. Grayson Moody this time.
All right, now I'll say it. With 3 straight good carries, the Cards are hitting their stride when it comes to running the ball. And not only does it run so much clock off and give the Cards steady progression, but it also is just wearing on the Cyclones defense. Those defensive linemen are working so hard to close up those gaps. Linebackers from the 2nd level having to come downhill and seal the remaining gaps off.
Oh, and if they're going to go down and take a 2-possession lead, there's no worry about the clock. You want to take as much off as possible.
But
if you're going to score a second, you make your lead 2 touchdowns.
Yes.
That's the main objective.
Yeah, the clock doesn't matter at that point.
Give to Moody. Moody still on his feet, spins forward near the first down marker, probably going to be about a yard short.
My goodness, I cannot believe how close he got. Just the fact that these running backs, as you said, both of them, just fall forward for yards every single time. That also comes down to really, really impressive spatial awareness from the 2, especially with how often the 2 of them get brought down spinning. The awareness to stay on their feet and know exactly which direction to churn, whether they're facing forward, backward, or towards the sidelines on either side.
They give Moody 7, so it's 2nd and or is it 3rd and 3 here? 3rd and 3.
I believe it's 2nd down. Oh, it is 3rd.
Give to Moody, fighting hard for it. He's going to go down really close.
They're going to mark. They'll show 3rd down now, so that was 2nd down on the carry. They just flipped the number over by the chains, which will now make it 3rd down and 1.
Going to be a little bit short, so it will be 3rd and 1.
3rd and 1, Eudora.
Now the Cards knocking on the door again. You've just got to think they're going to continue to want to push the ball forward. Stacked boxes met on the other side by the Cyclones.
The 3rd down give, and it's another first for Eudora.
And Reed, we're reaching the point now where it is truly so difficult on the Cyclones because we're reaching the point now late enough in the game, you know what they're doing. They know that the Cards are going to be running the ball right at them. The difficult part is being able to seal those gaps off up front. The guys on the offensive line for the Cardinals are just killing it up there. They are moving mountains up front, those front 5. And it just gives Moody and Duncan enough room to squeeze through for first downs when needed and enough to gas out the Cyclones, who are at this point truly fighting for their lives and their undefeated record.
And we have just crossed the 5-minute mark of this drive. Going to be a give in the backfield. Mulvihill! Lots of room! Runs kind of into the only tackler on that side of the field, but he's got the first down.
I love that Mulvihill likely could have gone left or right to miss the tackler.
And he ran right into the guy that Preston White was trying to block for him.
Instead decided he wanted a little bit of contact. He said, I've only gotten a couple carries on the night.
He didn't want to score yet.
Yeah.
Eat more time. But it was a great play call. I love the play call.
There is a very good
and
chance.
A good first down.
There's a chance that's precisely what it was, too, because he could have walked in. And like you said, it's kind of win-win. If you get in the end zone, you're going up by 2 possessions. If you run clock, you're just continuing to take time off. But awesome run there.
A give to Moody. And he's going to go down inside the 5.
Moody with the carry.
And out comes Preston White over towards the sideline, seemingly replaced by Brock Long, the tight end, which is more evidence to me that we are going to see that much more running the rock on this drive. Taking out one of the lighter bodies at receiver means we're going to see a lot of the big bodies up front blocking here.
So what you're telling me is a passing play would catch everyone off guard?
This is true. This is precisely what I'm saying.
2nd and 3 at the 6. It's a give to Moody. Cuts outside, and he's got the first. So that'll make it 1st and goal.
Getting the first down and not scoring, too, is just perfect for the clock as we're under 4 minutes at this point. Cyclones definitely needing 1 touchdown to tie it up, and it's seeming like it might be 2.
1st and goal, Eudora.
How phenomenal has this 4th quarter been as far as control goes? I mean, they've done everything right as far as the positions they put themselves in and how they've executed with it.
So much has gone into this drive, and even before the drive, Riley Nice's tackle for loss forced the punt. The recovery by Mulvihill to keep this drive alive. Now can Moody capitalize with his 3rd touchdown of the game? Not quite yet.
Moody's not short.
More time off the clock.
And we've already seen one, I'm going to say it, we've already seen one really impressive 4-down stop right up against the goal line. The Cyclones, if there's ever a time where they need one, this is as desperate as they've been all season. Their other 3 wins on the year, may have mentioned it briefly, but all blowouts. They've scored over 40 in all 3 of their games this season, and they've held opponents to under 7 in their first 3 games. No longer the case.
Has there ever been a time to protect the football?
Yes.
You would rather get stonewalled here and try 2 more times and turn it over at the 1
then lose
than
it.
fumble the ball.
Yeah.
Carnegie gives to Moody, and he's going to be stopped again.
He might have reached, but his body definitely did not get across.
To 3rd and goal we go.
Oh, it just had to be tense, didn't it?
Couldn't be easy.
We couldn't be without pressure here. No, of course not. Carnegie going to come over, and
if it were easy, it wouldn't be football.
If it was easy, it wouldn't be fun. I say that in my day-to-day life regularly.
3rd down and the length of the crowd.
Do they go to Moody again?
I would love the idea of a carry to Duncan or even Mulvihill right now, just to catch him off guard a little bit. Not only with a different jersey number, but just a different running style, right? A little more shifty, looking for a gap a little more so than just pushing through that line.
Card's going to run the clock down here as far as they can and then take their first timeout of the half. We could go ahead and keep you here, though.
This has just been immensely impressive with how they've handled it. I am so pleased, pleasantly surprised almost with how the Cardinals have handled this drive. It's been awesome.
I mean, this drive started with 10:15 on the clock. There's now a minute 35 up there. That is more than you could have ever asked for if you said, we want you to go down and score and take off as much time as possible.
My number was under 6 minutes.
Yeah. And now all they got to do is just get the scoring part, which feels like it should be a foregone conclusion, but as you said, we've seen the stand here, and we're already to 3rd down, and it began as 1st and goal from the 2.
Yes. And we also know the Cyclones can score with their backs up against the wall with little time. So if they do get a stop
Cardinals
here, this game is not over.
Score.
Yeah, if they do not score and the Cyclones get the ball back, this is far from a sealed ball game.
The question of if we got the 4th down, do you take the field goal or not, would be a fascinating conversation, but let's hope we don't get there. 3rd and goal from the 1. Carnegie might have bobbled the snap, but he also might have gotten in the end zone. What do we got?
He almost went down to his knees before he drove. It's all about where they
There was trouble with the snap. But it does seem either way like it's a Eudora football. But where's it going to end up?
Oh, it seems they're being backed off. Means they're going to talk it over again. You wonder if we get confirmation that they did not score. I think I'd be in favor of the field goal. But we'll see what
the officials
our official
in
ruling
deep conversation here. Touchdown! Touchdown, Eudora Cardinals. Houston Carnegie gets in the end zone.
They just had to set the stage for us, give a little bit of tension on a Friday night. We wouldn't have had it any other way. Such has been the trend tonight.
honestly, that encapsulates the whole drive. Trouble with the snap and still a touchdown for the Cards, because a lot of different parts of that drive, even before it began, felt like maybe this isn't going the Cardinals' way. Oh wait, no, it definitely is. A lot of different points there that happened.
Precisely.
All the way to the end. So I get tired of it when commentators say that encapsulates the day. Because a lot of times they say it and it's just not.
The drive,
that drive specifically, that's the only way it was allowed to end. Because at the 50-yard line, need I remind you, Duncan fumbled, Mulvihill recovered. Before that, it was 3rd and 8. Before that, the Cyclones were at the 50 and they were driving and we had a forced punt.
You're getting 2 or 3 times in the last 20 minutes or so of real time where you and I, along with the rest of this Cardinals section, have kind of held our breath and sunk our heads and then popped back up and gone, oh no, it's okay. Also, assuming Dunback is able to knock through this extra point, we had talked about how the Cyclones had a 14-point lead, Cards hadn't walked away. Could be a 14-point lead the other way for the Cardinals here.
Seems like there's still a conference here of the officials pinned to it. Because the Cardinals are not being allowed to take this PAT. No timeout has been taken. Everybody's still kind of standing around here.
Almost makes you wonder if we're awaiting something else as far as a call goes.
Yeah, I mean, there is the whole you can't advance a fumble in the final 2, but if Carnegie fumbled and then picked it up in the end zone,
that's a live ball
that
still.
Should be a touchdown, but I could see a world where because he's the one that fumbled it, it goes back to that original spot instead of being in the end zone.
The White Hat did say to Stefan, still a touchdown. So it looks like Dunback and Carnegie will go out for the PAT.
So the touchdown is confirmed. Cardinals with a 2-possession lead, and Dunback looking to make it a 14-point lead.
7 o'clock start time. JV and varsity soccer also playing on Friday at Barstow, 5:15 start time.
Kick is up and true. 35-21. The Cardinals are the only team to score here in the second half after it was 21-21. Halfway through, 1:32 to go. We'll go to a break.
At Fort Scott Community College, we understand that a scary part of figuring out your future isn't only answering the question, what should I do, but where do I belong? Maybe you belong here as part of Fort Scott Community College's John Deere Tech program. Maybe you belong here as part of the perennial playoff-bound Greyhound baseball team. I don't know where you've been or where you're headed, but I know we're saving a spot for you because you belong at Fort Scott Community College.
At Kansas Insurance.
So the Cardinals now sit in pole position to grab the lead of the Frontier League, because they have got a 2-possession lead here in this game with 92 seconds to go, but 76 seconds is all that the Cyclones needed to score a touchdown before we went to the halftime break. You'd be asking a lot, though, for the Cyclones to try and get 2 scores here. They will have to move quickly, which they are capable of. Here's the kick return by Jace Morning. And he's had a lot better in this game. He'll be stopped at the 21.
I think the main point of emphasis for the Cards here, as it wouldn't take a genius to tell you, you've just got to be sound. You've just got to hit your tackles when you get your marks. Don't allow anything massive over the top.
Which that's all they're going to test.
Correct.
Hull is only looking to throw here. There will be no, I mean, they might give the occasional run to Velez, maybe, but I would honestly be surprised. They've got 2 timeouts, 1:25, down by 2 scores. They have just got to go for it all. They've got 4 wide here.
And no safeties over the top for the Cards.
Yeah, Cardinals with man defense, it looks like. Hull going to throw. He has a man, incomplete. Not the worst case scenario for the Cyclones. It keeps the clock stopped and just becomes 2nd and 10.
No, but if you start thinking about it, you got to keep in mind, they do not need 1 touchdown. They need 2 of them. So that 1:20, they're not going to be looking at it as 1:20 seconds. They're going to be looking at it as 30 to 40 seconds. They're going to want to score as quickly as possible here, ideally save their timeouts so that they're then able to attempt an onside kick or some way to get the ball back quickly and then try to score again.
2nd and 10 here. Time and opportunities running out for the Cyclones. Hull pulls back, throws deep, and it's caught!
My goodness,
The
how
Cyclones
impressive.
will be in Cardinals territory.
How impressive is this receiving core? That was Morning.
Big game by the Cyclones. Takes it across the 50 into Cardinal territory.
So that the clock is still moving. They've lost about 10 seconds off of it. Not a ton of urgency in the huddle.
A 39-yard catch there for Jace Morning. On what was a lot like a Hail Mary play, he was the one that caught the Hail Mary touchdown before the first half came to a close. 5 wide this time, and flags come down.
Looks like it'll potentially be a false start here.
Didn't look like a legal procedure for the Cyclones. And that is a
false start. So a procedural penalty on the Cyclones offense backs them up. 2nd and 15. They're now 46 yards away from the end zone.
And
They've got to just be looking end zone here.
The biggest issue is that they lost so much time on that too.
And the clock is in fact going to continue to run.
Yeah, at this point you got to take a shot for the end zone.
They'll go short here, hoping to get out of bounds and stop the clock. Morning gets them back past the original line of scrimmage. It's 3rd down now.
I'm trying to go through the whole process in my head. 30 seconds left means if you were to go for the end zone and score here, you'd likely take 8 to 10 seconds off the clock. Means you'd be looking at about 20 seconds left to try to get the ball back and then presumably do another Hail Mary or something of that sort again.
4 wide. The play action. And now he's moving up in the pocket. He's going to be sacked. Leland Bradshaw.
He even stayed over him just looking down. Looks like maybe pulled slow to his feet. He is up though.
Oh yeah, no, he's going to hobble towards the sideline. That could basically be the end of the game. I mean, we're already nearing that. But if Hull can't continue, that is just going to be the end of their chances here for the Hail Mary.
Yes.
And what a play, Leland Bradshaw, the captain, getting in the backfield, getting a massive sack and forcing the Cyclones to call one of their 2 remaining timeouts.
And that's on a quarterback, Hayden Hull, who has been able to evade the Cards defense for the most part up in the pocket all night. He's had pressure on him most of the evening, but he's been amazing at just slipping around all the right places and completely avoiding being hit for the most part.
And he thought he was going to be able to step up and part the Red Sea.
So the fact that Bradshaw was able to stay disciplined, stay in his lane, and come out of nowhere to shut down that run attempt from Hull. Just beautiful execution late here from a Cardinals team. Clearly looking to make a statement in the Frontier League here late tonight.
I mean, this is a Cyclones team that scored 40 points every game and barely had a challenge. The Cardinals sit with 35, and the Cyclones haven't scored since the first half. It is still Hull. 3rd and 11. 24 seconds to go, 1 timeout remaining. Hull drops back at the 50. Lets it fly, and it'll fall incomplete. 4th down. So this is it, and that's still only, they need to score twice, but this is their only chance, is at least a first end zone, and then that would be keeping them on a pretty tight schedule to try an onside kick and turn it all the way around into another score. Flag comes in here now. It was near the Ottawa huddle. I don't know if somebody said something or there was no interaction between the 2 teams. Unsportsmanlike conduct on the Cyclones, and that is costly. That turns 4th and 11. Let's see, is it a 15?
Interesting.
How big
this is going to be a long 4th down. The question is just how far.
That turns 4th and 11 into 4th and 26.
Fourth in a cornfield for the Cyclones.
Ho all by himself, looking deep, gets it away. Has one man in quadruple coverage. It was in his hands, but it's incomplete. The Cardinals are going to win the game.
And here comes the ovation from the Cardinal faithful right here in front of us. You'll hear all the noise, all the energy as the Cardinals defense as amped up as they've been at any point tonight for an absolute statement against the Ottawa Cyclones.
It didn't start their way, but it's going to end their way. They trailed 14-0. They're going to walk out of here with a 14-point victory, 35-21. After a really, really great game and an unbelievable rushing performance, just as it was last year, to beat the Cyclones. And all they're going to need is one more QB kneel here, victory formation. And then the Cardinals can send the home fans home happy.
I'll also mention it now that we know the ball is not going to go back to the Cyclones. They came in today averaging just over 43 points per game. They scored less than half of that against the Cardinals defense tonight.
And there is the kneel down from Carnegie. Seals the victory for Eudora. The Cyclones undefeated no more. There is a flag here. Don't know if it doesn't matter, I don't think.
They're not going to.
This is going to be a 14-point penalty. But the Cardinals take sole lead of the Frontier League. Twice running now, they've handed the Cyclones their first loss on the football season. And it is a really great victory for the Cardinals, something they'll feel really good about. Building on that Spring Hill win, the Cardinals look like one of the most dangerous teams in the Frontier League.
I don't know if I'd say one of.
Yeah.
The other two most dangerous are likely the two they've played the last 2 weeks. And they've held them both in check in beautiful fashion.
Well, these are two teams that could very well see themselves into the postseason, maybe even match up again. And tell you what, I would invite it. That would be a great game of football, just as this one has been. We will go to a break. When we're back, it's the post-game show. Keep it here on Eudora Sports Live. The Cardinals win 35-21 over the Cyclones.
Are you looking for a trusted partner in pet care? Look no further than Eudora Animal Hospital, proudly serving Eudora and the surrounding area since 1975. Eudora Animal Hospital offers a wide range of services, including wellness exams, surgeries, routine vaccinations, and emergency care.
I just want to thank everybody in the community for trusting us with the care of their animals, and go Dogs!
Schedule an appointment by calling 785-542-3265 or visit eudoravet.com.
More time before you wake up in the wild.
Our natural world needs us now. Step by step, side by side, together, we can find a way to ensure that all life on Earth can thrive. To learn more about how you can help protect and conserve nature, visit nature.org.
Your home for live, local sports. Varsity Sports Live delivers professional level coverage with high quality video and broadcasters that know your schools and community.
Touchdown, Tonganachi!
With the support of local businesses, you never pay to watch Varsity Sports. Live, local, free high school sports coverage. That's Varsity Sports Live.
Rasp gets it away. Moore's down the middle, and he makes the catch in the end zone. Touchdown, Trojans!
Keep up with the action at varsitysportslive.com. Live, local, free high school sports.
Charlie was born at LMH. We had a great team of nurses. Not only did they check in on us regularly, they always asked if we had questions, always made sure that we understood what was going on. I cannot say enough wonderful things about the labor and delivery, family birthing, and mother baby care team at LMH Health. We had to put our entire trust into their hands, and just everyone was so friendly and so supportive.
At Fort Scott Community College, we understand that a scary part of figuring out your future isn't only answering the question, what should I do, but where do I belong? Maybe you belong here as part of Fort Scott Community College's John Deere Tech program. Maybe you belong here as part of the perennial playoff-bound Greyhound baseball team. I don't know where you've been or where you're headed, but I know we're saving a spot for you because you belong at Fort Scott Community College.
Get a shot of that.
Are we in?
Thought we'd let you listen in a little bit there to the Eudora fight song, something they do win, lose, or draw after every single game. A great tradition here for the Cards. It is a great celebration for the Cards. 35-21 is the final score. They do put a first loss on the Cyclones record and take sole possession of the Frontier League lead, 3-0 undefeated within conference play. This is our post-game show brought to us by Eudora Animal Hospital. For 40 years, Eudora Animal Hospital has been caring for pets and livestock with fair pricing, trusted service, and compassionate care. Pet owners from across the region trust their four-legged friends to Eudora Animal Hospital. To learn more, visit eudoravet.com. So Hayden, 35-21, final score. Really good game of football. First half was crazy back and forth. The second half felt like it was the fourth quarter the entire time. And the way that the Cardinals were able to take control of it was anything but comfortable. It was nerve-wracking, it was stressful, it was dramatic. But in the end, it is celebratory for the Cardinals. And it is, I mean, they end up, quote-unquote, comfortable. 2-possession win. But I don't know if it ever actually felt that way until the game was almost done. They took 8 minutes and 43 seconds off the clock in that game-sealing drive where they scored the second touchdown, or the touchdown to make it a 2-possession lead. And yeah, just a phenomenal game. What's your analysis on the game as a whole?
Man, I'm so impressed across the board. You and I even mentioned it we mentioned it maybe on the air in the halftime break, but also just in talking, we said we felt like one of these two teams had the capability to pull away. And I told you verbatim that I thought if you looked at these two teams and the way they had gotten to that even 21 at the end of the second quarter, all of the things that I felt Ottawa would have to fix in order to walk away from the Cardinals seemed a much taller task than the things that the Cardinals would have to clean up in order to maybe stretch a little bit of a gap out over the Cyclones. And they did just that. The pass game still wasn't perfect, but to their credit, they came out and ran the ball so well early in the second half and gave themselves enough of a gap. They didn't really need to worry about the pass game all that much. They just executed. I am so incredibly impressed with how well that fourth quarter went from an execution standpoint, because we all know the vision Coach Stefan has and how coaches want to handle a game when they're up by a possession, trying to make it 2. But that was perfect. You can't ask your team to execute special teams, defense, offense much better than they did there. Of course, don't fumble the ball, right? I mean, execute a little quicker on those third downs and some of those plays, but as a whole, you can't be upset with the way it ended. This has been an absolute statement tonight and the week prior. Just all the things it shows to the rest of the Frontier League, which now, number one, as you said, sole possession of first in the Frontier League. 3-0 inside the Frontier League is Eudora. 2 through 4, Tonganoxie, Ottawa, and Spring Hill, all of which Spring Hill won tonight, Tonganoxie won tonight, Ottawa, of course, lost here. That makes all of them 2-1 within the Frontier League, so still not a comfy gap for the Cards early in the year. But this was just about as well as I could have expected them to play. All the things we knew they needed to capitalize on, they really did. All the things we were hoping that they would bring in from last week and continue to do well on, they did. Obviously, there are things Coach Stefan is still going to want to clean up. He is still going to want less fumbles. He is still going to want less procedural penalties, especially pre-snap. The holding penalties, the face mask that allowed that Hail Mary near the end of the second quarter was devastating. I mean, that's something that you just cannot have happen against a good team like this later in the year especially. But overall, I think the team did really, really well today. I think they showed up, had really good endurance. The offensive line deserves so much praise. We didn't give it to them as much on the broadcast, but all of the work they were doing to where Moody and Duncan, especially in the first half, were able to just churn for yards against a fresh Ottawa defensive line. They were kind of able to go wherever they wanted, and that is the kind of thing that really sets the tone for this Eudora Cardinals team. If they're able to run the ball well, as Coach Stefan said today, everything else flows from that. And they were able to do it, and you saw the Cyclones, again, as Spring Hill was last week, just on the back foot the entire day, just trying to find answers. Because if you're not able to plug up Moody and Duncan completely, this offense is always going to have options. And Houston Carnegie, QB to his credit, also played really well. And when his name was called, he did a pretty good job executing with that. Just really, really impressed. This was such an awesome night. The Cyclones, I think, still had positives to take away from it as well. You can't be thrilled, but at the same time, they're without their star running back. They're without their star wide receiver and KU commit already early in his senior season in Nate Sims. They fought like crazy and did a lot of the things that you knew they would need to do in order to keep themselves in this game. But overall, just not quite enough for a team that, as early as it is to be saying it, the Cardinals look for real in the Frontier League.
Yeah, and a team that's built on freshmen and sophomores for the most part, sophomores and juniors maybe, is really, really impressive. It feels like it can only get better going forward.
Yes.
And you're absolutely right. These last 2 weeks specifically have been a statement of intent within the Frontier League, and just in their schedule going forward, it'll be the type of thing where players that are going to play will Google it and look at it and be like, they did what?
Right.
How did they, how are we going to play against them if they did that? And that's really what's impressive is they replicated it, because the way they played against Spring Hill was that was a performance that was impressive. And maybe you might see that and think, oh, they played out of their skin. That's not something they'll do again.
Right.
Nuh-uh. They did it again.
Did it again.
They did it again. They did maybe even better. And specifically, this team's defense is that's what it's built on, is this defense. And it might not seem like it when they struggle so hard in the passing game, specifically the deep passing game, but the run stuffing.
There's
and
a reason we focus so much on the passing.
Yeah, it is. This team is built on its defense, and then the fact that they're getting offense involved on it too, just built on spamming, handing it off to Grayson Moody, Keelan Duncan, and occasionally giving it to Mulvihill. And they did all of it without their starting quarterback, Cy Thomas, who's somebody else who can run the ball. He can also throw it decently well. In the end, Houston Carnegie tossed for 15 yards in this game to Preston White, which is 6 more than the Cardinals needed in there to get their win last year over the Cyclones. And yeah, a all-around performance, Eudora Cardinals performance, something that Coach Stefan will be proud of, the players will be proud of. As you said, things to get better on, but what a game, what a time, and an honor to get to call this game and deliver it to you. We will go to one last break here on our Eudora Animal Hospital postgame show. When we're back, we will wrap this game up and then tell you what you can look forward to in the coming week on Eudora Sports Live. Thank you so much for tuning in here.
So I gotta look.
Charlie was born at LMH. We had a great team of nurses. Not only did they check in on us regularly, they always asked if we had questions, always made sure that we understood what was going on. I cannot say enough wonderful things about the labor and delivery, family birthing, and mother baby care team at LMH Health. We had to put our entire trust into their hands, and just everyone was so friendly and so supportive.
Everybody can make something, because I think everyone has a spark of creativity, and the reason that I have to keep making is because I don't think my life would be as fulfilling without it. If you make things yourself, that means you're not cowering in fear. You're out there taking chances. That, I think, is my way of saying I love you to the world. All right, now I want to hear why you make.
Share your own Why I Make story today. Visit whyimake.org.
I used to drive an ambulance as an EMT, and I've always tried to be a safe driver. If people knew what I know, lives could be saved. In my car, if I see a truck or bus taking a turn, I know to take my time. When big vehicles turn right, they may swing wide to make the turn. If you try to sneak in, well, it's a lesson you'd rather not learn the hard way. When trucks and buses turn, let's you and I wait. It's our roads, it's our safety.
At Kansas Insurance, we know one size doesn't fit all. In fact, our whole mindset is based on customized policies for you and your families. We're local, and we do what we do because we care about you. Think of us as brokers for your insurance needs. Working with Kansas Insurance gets you the award-winning service and attention to detail that only an independent agency can provide. All across Kansas, we're here to help you manage and plan for all types of risk. Contact a local agent today. Kansas Insurance. Local, independent, serving you.
All right, back for the final time here on our Eudora Animal Hospital post-game show. And looking forward to what is next. It's just straight to next Friday. There will be football where the Cardinals will be taking on the Lewisburg Wildcats. Hayden, you were telling me they were 1-3.
0-3 coming into tonight.
Okay.
They beat Bonner Springs. So at the end of the night, they will be 1-3.
So those Wildcats sound like they are in a down year. They were a strong team last year. And looking at the history of the matchup, the last time that the Cardinals got the better of the Wildcats was 2013. Dangerous to say that it sounds like maybe they have a good opportunity next Friday, but it does seem like maybe these Wildcats are I don't know, a little more tame than they've been in the past.
Or just starting sluggish. You never know.
Yeah, but it'll be in Lewisburg. I will not be there for that one, but Hayden Harves will be there with you for that one next Friday, and that'll be right here on the Varsity Sports Live YouTube channel on Eudora Sports Live. Anything else to add here before we sign off?
Not a lot.
Sorry, guys.
It's always fun to watch the Cards play football. It's even more fun to watch them play really good football. And we've been treated now to really 4 weeks, but 2 weeks especially, of just excellent football from the Cards, and I'm really, really thrilled to see it.
Friday Night Lights epitomized by the win-sealing touchdown being a fumbled snap recovered in the end zone for a touchdown. That's high school football, and it was some beautiful drama, and absolutely a privilege to get to bring it to you here. Thank you so much for tuning in here on this Friday night. The numbers were phenomenal. Appreciate the support. Go Cardinals. Have a good weekend.
From the gridiron to the hardcourt, the pitch to the mat, don't miss any of the action. We're there with live, local sports coverage at varsitysportslive.com.